And we will go ahead and call to order. Time is 7:11. And Ms. Secretary, if you would do the attendance, please.
Justin Miramonte,
Present.
Tim Teagan,
Present.
Scott Bowman. I thought I
Present.
saw Scott. I am present. Andrew Duke,
Present.
Dana Carver. I know I heard her. Dana. Come back to her. Jay Gillette. Tori Heinrich.
Heinrich, present.
Heinrich. Raphael
Heinrich.
Wolf. Henrik. Okay.
I'm here.
John Jaskup.
Present.
Larry Johnson.
I'm here.
Leah Daly.
Present.
Angela Thornton.
Present.
Charles Essner.
Present.
Mike Saliba.
He's on the way. He just asked me to send him a link to his Facebook, so I'm sending
Okay.
him to the Facebook.
Dave Franklin. Colin Fitzgerald. Back to Dana. You're here, right, Dana?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I just wanted to note that both Dave and Colin have 2 absences now, consecutive. So I know I'm supposed to be tracking that based on our bylaws. So there's no.
Yes. We'll want to email them regarding that and their obligations under Section 3 of the bylaws.
Okay.
I have a question. Does that just pertain to regular meetings or special meetings as well?
It only pertains to regular meetings. So yes, we would have to review that attendance. This is a
Oh,
regular
okay.
meeting tonight. I believe no, this is only so yes, tonight would be the
They
first
missed a
missed regular
special
meeting.
meeting. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So the obligation is only to regular meetings. There's an understanding in the bylaws that special meetings may not be as easy to attend because they're not regular.
Okay. All right.
That being said, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any opposition? The agenda is approved. Do I hear a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any opposition to the approval of the minutes as presented by our secretary?
I assume that's all 3 meetings. The executive session as well.
Yes, that was previous minutes.
Okay.
If anyone wishes to separate or review any of those minutes, feel free to raise your hand at this time. Seeing none, we'll move forward with the approval. And having presented my officer's report in written fashion, we'll forego that just in the interest of expediency. We have a lot on the agenda tonight, and I understand Mr. Teagan has a bit of a lengthy report between that and the subcommittee. So, Mr. Teagan, I will hand the floor to you.
Thank you. So the subcommittee for the reaffiliation of Western Macomb and Genesee has come to its conclusion with its final offering being a recommendation letter. I have here, but if Miss Angela Thornton doesn't mind, I will concede the reading thereof that recommendation letter to her due to my dyslexia.
Know about that, but I can read it. Is that what you want me to read it now?
Yes, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Okay. It's kind of long. Sorry about that. But members of the executive committee, the statement presented by the chair of the Thumb affiliate in the last meeting was perhaps the most concise presentation of the issue before the board in the matter of reaffiliating the Genesee affiliate. It touched on concerns voiced by other members and raised some additional points as well. However, it is the opinion of the members of the affiliate committee that the statement presented to you in the last meeting frames the history and the present situation in a manner that omits key facts, mischaracterizes the sequence of events, and applies the bylaws inconsistently. It ultimately arrives at conclusions that are neither supported by the governing documents of the party nor indicative of the reality of the circumstances. The claim that the process by which the disaffiliation happened has not been contested until now is simply not accurate. The disaffiliation of the former Genesee affiliate was challenged at the time, both on the merits and on procedural grounds, and was by all accounts a highly controversial and divisive action within the party. The reason there was no formal appeal to the Judicial Committee is not because the members accepted the outcome, but because the former chair at that time had already stated directly and without hesitation that the Judicial Committee would rubber stamp any decision that chair made, stating that's why it had been so important for the faction to win those seats in the first place. Given that political reality, pursuing an appeal was seen as futile, not as agreement with the decision. Also, it is a fundamental principle in law that fraud invalidates consent and negates contracts. If a party action is obtained through misrepresentation, suppression of material facts, or bad faith, the passage of time does not cure the defect. The original disaffiliation was born out of a politicized process that was recognized as predetermined, and that underlying defect remains relevant today. While the statement also characterized past litigation as criminal actions, it is important to remind this body that all litigation, regardless of merit, were civil matters. Labeling civil disputes as criminal in a party forum is both inflammatory and inaccurate. The casual use of such language frames dissenting members as lawbreakers, which is neither factually correct nor conducive to liberty. The argument that Genesee's inclusion in the Thumb region was done without objection ignores the practical reality of how that meeting was conducted. Only 3 members from Genesee attended, only one of whom was active in the previous incarnation of the affiliate. There is no record that any members were informed in advance that the formation would permanently annex Genesee into a multi-county region. At least some of the former and most active members of the Genesee County affiliate were not advised of the formation at all. In fact, some members received no notice until the day that the board voted to approve the new affiliate. By then, the decision was effectively already made. There was no vote by the Genesee County members as a whole to merge. In a manner similar to the vote that enabled the government to seize Hawaii and make that the 50th state, they were simply outnumbered in a multi-county meeting. Silence in that setting does not equal informed consent. Our bylaws recognize the autonomy of affiliates, and that principle encompasses the ability of any county or area to form or reform an affiliate of its own. To assert that because 3 individuals did not object in a larger meeting somehow binds an entire county indefinitely is a reach that the bylaws do not support. And again, if the inclusion of Genesee was achieved through misrepresentation, incomplete disclosure, or under conditions where informed consent was impossible, that agreement is void under the same legal principle: fraud negates consent. The suggestion that visiting Genesee's status now would be an act of, quote, vengeance and spite, end quote, misrepresents the intent. The purpose is not to punish the Thumb region, but to correct an unresolved and divisive structural issue. A county once recognized as its own affiliate, whose members remain connected and interested in self-governance, was incorporated into a multi-county affiliate without their consent. Correcting the imbalance is not an attack. It is the proper exercise of the executive committee's role in recognizing and organizing affiliates according to the bylaws. The procedural claim that removing Genesee from the Thumb can only be done at the Thumb region's next convention in 2026 is not supported by the bylaws. The bylaws grant the executive committee sole authority to recognize affiliates and determine their jurisdiction. The provision, which reads, "The executive committee shall charter affiliate parties," grants the LEC the sole authority to determine the territorial composition of affiliates. By necessity, chartering does not only include the initial recognition of an affiliate, but any subsequent amendments to its jurisdiction. Nothing in the bylaws removes the LEC's ability to assign or reassign territories to affiliates. Suspension is a tool, but is not the only action the LEC can take under its sole chartering authority. Roner 5668 states that when bylaws prescribe a specific method for doing something, no alternative procedure is permissible unless the bylaws allow for it. There is no language requiring the EC to wait for an affiliate or regional permission or even a convention to adjust boundaries. While cooperation with the existing affiliate is encouraged, it is certainly not a prerequisite to action, especially when the executive committee is responding to the expressed desire of members within that county simply to return to the previous structure of being organized separately. Our conclusion.
Excuse me. I just showed up because I had the wrong numbers or something. I'm a little concerned that I've not been a part of this conversation because I have some issues with the way we put together that report, Angela.
All right. Well, Ms. Thornton has the floor at the moment, Jay. I will certainly allow you to present your issues with that after she's concluded.
Yeah, I thought it was, I don't know how I was not on, Mr. Chair, but I checked all the numbers I had, the ones that you sent in September on the 7th, and I didn't get through. So my apologies.
I do apologize. I'm glad you made it. Apologies for the interruption, Ms. Thornton.
Because I was part of it.
If the secretary can record Mr. Gillott's arrival as of 7:21, and Ms. Thornton, you have the floor back. I do apologize.
Sorry, Angie.
Our conclusion is that the executive committee is certainly not bound to inaction for 2 years when there is a clear passion from Genesee members, along with precedents in our party's history, reorganize affiliates by the executive committee vote. The path forward, the Thumb region affiliate, members in Genesee County, and the party as a whole can thrive, but only if the executive committee moves to ensure that affiliate level autonomy is respected, past controversies are not weaponized to block future organizing, the bylaws are applied even-handedly to all affiliates, old and new. There is nothing in the provisions of either affiliate's bylaws that prevent members from joining any affiliate they choose. No member would be forced to change affiliates. Recognizing Genesee's right to reestablish itself does not in any way diminish the Thumb region's success. It simply serves to honor the same principles of self-determination, local control, and the freedom of association that we claim to value and promote. Under both our bylaws and Robert's rules, the executive committee retains the authority to revisit, amend, and rescind prior actions, provided proper notice and voting thresholds are met. Roner 35-2 makes it clear that a motion to rescind or amend something previously adopted is in order, so long as no action has been taken that makes it impossible to carry out the motion, or that the motion is not one where a contract has been executed and relied on in a way that cannot be undone. Neither of those conditions apply here. The LEC has a continuing authority over affiliate boundaries and a parliamentary obligation to correct actions taken or obtained by misrepresentation. The bylaws grant the LEC the power to charter affiliates, which by necessity includes the ability to determine or change affiliate boundaries when appropriate. The prohibition on abridging affiliate autonomy applies to affiliates' internal governance and activities, not the LEC's general authority over recognition, structure, and boundaries. If the LEC could never adjust a region except by total suspension, then all affiliate lines and configurations would be frozen permanently, a reading which is wholly inconsistent with the LEC's explicit chartering power. Also, Roner 5668 emphasizes that when bylaws prescribe a specific method, no alternative procedure is permissible unless the bylaws allow for it. Our bylaws explicitly place recognition and jurisdiction of affiliates within the authority of the executive committee. There is no provision that removes that authority based on approval by an affiliate or a vote at affiliate convention. Therefore, a motion to restore Genesee as its own affiliate, which would necessitate adjusting the Thumb region's jurisdiction, is both procedurally in order and within this body's power. In summation, given that fraud negates consent, that key and possibly a majority of Genesee members were excluded from meaningful notice of the Thumb's formation, and that the executive's committee jurisdiction over affiliates is continuous, there is no procedural basis to rule this motion out of order. The question before the board is therefore one of merit. Will we honor the autonomy of the Genesee County members? That's what must be decided today by this committee. I thank you all for your patience, and I yield the floor back to Tim, I guess.
Thank you, Angela. Like I said, that is the main item on my officer's report. With that, our subcommittee has come to a conclusion, and that should end my officer's report at this time.
All right, so we will open the floor to some questions. Mr. Gilat requested the floor. I'll allow him to go first. I see Miss Daly's hand is up. She will have the floor after he does. Followed by Charles Essner. Go ahead, Jay. You're muted if you're trying to talk.
There we go. Listen, I apologize to this group. I don't know how I had the wrong address, but I did, and however, I did not want to miss this part of the meeting. Having read the report that was penned by Angie, I am a part of this committee, and much of what she said I find agreement with. But with all due respect, and I'm not trying to stab you, or Angie, or anything, but it feels more like what you wrote was it was a litigator's opinion rather than a committee's kind of decision. It felt more what we wrote or what you wrote, and it felt more partisan, frankly, than I think we need to be on this situation. And I'm not sure how we deal with that. But I mean, the Genesee family, the Genesee people have their position. It is not necessarily the position of the board in its entirety, but it was written from that position, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I support Genesee being its own affiliate, and I do not have the solution to it. I'll let the rest of you figure that out. But this is how I feel about what we wrote. Not like it's all wrong, but it's just very partisan. So I'm sorry, Angie. All right, I'm done. I yield.
Ms. Daly, the floor is yours.
Thanks. There was a lot to take in from that reading. I'm not sure if I have a proper copy of what was read, but just a couple. I have a question and then a comment. I'll start with my comment. I guess maybe I'm just confused because I was under the impression, as having been there, but I know that part of the rationale for disaffiliation of the Genesee County affiliate some time ago had something to do with funds that were being raised through the affiliate that were in so many words, to work against the board of the LPMI at the time, which I'm also confused because I do know that Ms. Thornton did not recognize the board of the state party until the composition changed. The board in itself has not changed, just the composition of the board. And then I'm confused about what the fraud, I don't have the exact wording in front of me, but what was said about the fraud precedes or negates, maybe that can be clarified for me.
Ms. Thornton, if you'd like to clarify, we wouldn't want to make any casual accusations here.
Yeah, it's fine. And we debated all this in the last meeting, so I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. It is not true that we didn't recognize the Libertarian Party board. That's not true at all. There was a leadership dispute at that time, at the time of the disaffiliation. The collection of money was not the reason that the affiliate was disaffiliated, so that's a red herring. And the quote about fraud and, well, I forget what it was. Was it fraud and or vengeance and spite, criminal actions? All those were quotes from Connor's report. I was just trying to, contrary to what Jay said, I was actually trying to turn the temperature down on this discussion. So maybe I failed at that, but I can only assure the board that my intention was not to be divisive. We're done with this. So that would be my response, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Daly, did you have anything further?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carver. Ms. Carver, your hand's up. You have the floor.
I would speak in, of course, favor of this position, as I was on the board of the committee that voted with no objections to pass this resolution.
Point of inquiry, do we have a question for the subcommittee? We're not debating whether or not we accept the report at this time, so much as asking questions about it. There will be time for that later in the agenda, but we're not debating that matter at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for interrupting me, because it's so fun when you guys do that. Anyway, yeah, so I would vote in favor of what she read. And
Again, there's no vote being placed. Is there a question?
Anyway, none of this is false. It's all true. And
do you have any evidence to that effect, or is it mere?
I will go back to yeah, there is evidence. There's lots of evidence. I will go back to the fact that you can't steal a bike, give it to someone else, and then say that that is their bike. It is someone else's bike, and you can't give a bike away. Like, literally, Justin, fight me all you want. Fine. Everybody can hear what I'm saying. Go ahead. I'm done.
Mr. Effner, your floor is yours.
Yeah, I do have questions. I guess the biggest one I have is that representing the area that the thumb is in, does the thumb contest the supposed no record of informing members, or do they claim that they did? And if they do claim that they did, do they have proof? And then the other question I would have is more in lines. I didn't have time really to formulate a good question because I didn't really have this to review earlier. But my question is more in lines of I understand the argument that's being made, or the statement that's being made about the LEC being able to change regions and things. But I'm not 100% clear on that. I don't know if you necessarily need to answer that right now, honestly, but just give us time to review it so that we can understand. At least I need time to review that specific portion, unless there's a way to clarify it, but I don't know if that's possible without me sitting down. So, but the big one is like, is it actually factual? Like, did you ask, can they not provide evidence of providing notice upon their affiliation?
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
By all means.
Thank you. I also represent part of the area that the thumb affiliate contains. I'm Genesee County. I am the Genesee County District Rep. My district extends farther than Genesee County, but as a member of Genesee County, I was actually prepared to testify in court, which we won't have to do that now, that I did not receive any notice. My husband did not receive any notice. Adam Childress is here in the meeting. He did not receive any notice. Jonathan Edinger is in the meeting, or no, is not in the meeting. He did not receive any notice. Two former members who are no longer active, but they were pretty active in the party at the time, also did not receive any notice. I have not talked to a single member of the Genesee County affiliate, with the exception of those who came in after the disaffiliation, who were asked to, who were invited to that meeting, the original formation meeting, and who were, included in those discussions. The point was raised when I brought this up last time, that perhaps that they were not getting party emails because that would prohibit you. But I can assure you that at no point did I unsubscribe from the party emails. My husband has not unsubscribed from the party emails. Edinger gets the party emails. Yes, I see your question there, Jamie, but I can't answer it because you're not a member. So anyway, the the question was posed as, did we ask anybody in the district? Yes, I asked a lot of people in my district. The answer was nobody was notified. Adam was notified, but he got that from somebody else. He didn't get it from the website, maybe. I forget. It's been a while. But we talked about it at the time, and because I was trying not to be divisive, I was very much like, oh, they're getting ready to do something. Maybe you should go. But it was not properly noticed, is the committee opinion on that, Mr. Essner.
All right, we'll go back to Ms. Daly for a second time.
Hi, thank you. Not properly noticed. I don't believe that there's any prescribed method that was violated with sending any type of notice. Now, like we said, Mr. Childress was aware of some workings on affiliation with the Thumb and the surrounding regions. Now, because I was the affiliates director at the time, I was aware of notice that was being sent out. And because I knew that this type of concern might come up, I did, from Ms. Thornton in particular, I did make a special point or note to myself to see what type of emails she was receiving through our Civi CRM, just to make sure. I wanted to see, like, is she in particular, because she is the loudest in these type of concerns, I wanted to see if she was getting the emails that were being sent out. And I can't recall off the top of my head. I can go back and look because it's all in some way archived. I did notice that she was not receiving emails from the state party for some time, including the notice regarding the Genesee affiliate joining in the newly forming Thumb. So and off the top of my head, I want to say that Mr. Canny was receiving those emails. So I'd have to go back and look at the archives, but I do know that I did make a special.
If you go over here,
notice
you're
to
gonna be on the
myself
computer camera.
that Ms. Thornton did not receive that. Now, that does not mean that notice was not sent to a number of other members. And let's just say, you know, whether they sent it to active members, whether they sent it to all the what we call Michigan Subscribe, which is all the people that give us their information that want to receive more information within that county. I mean, those numbers, they're not very big also. So to say that all these people were not noticed, it's, as any of us that have been using the Civi CRM know that there are some limitations there, and it's not because of negligence. I just would like to say that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Daly. I didn't mean to imply negligence on any level. So if that's what you got, then I apologize. Negligence is not what I was going for.
Well, I think the assertion Ms. Daly was trying to make was that there was a good faith effort to notice the members of Genesee County that was put forth prior to the commission of the Thumb affiliate. Am I mistaken, Ms. Daly?
I respect that opinion. The committee reached a different decision.
And okay, very well. Mr. Essner.
Yeah, I guess maybe I wasn't clear. I didn't feel like my question was actually answered. I understand you're asking people if they received a notice. I was asking if notice was actually sent. Like, does the Thumb claim that notice was sent? It sounds like there might be a possibility that notice was sent, even if it wasn't received. So I understand what you were saying, but I was asking the question: did we for sure find out that notice wasn't sent? That was my question.
I understand. The committee has reached a decision, and again, I'll repeat, the committee has decided that notice was not sufficient.
Ms. Tarver, if you have any questions, the floor is yours.
Ms. Thornton, was there any objection to this being passed in our committee?
It passed without objection in committee, Ms. Barber.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's all. You can lower your hand, please, and we'll move on to further officer reports. Mr. Duke. Oh, Jay has requested the floor here. One more time, go ahead, Jay.
With regard to the report, I know that what we did on the meeting several days ago, I was not available for it. It was my fault. Am I so confused that the report that was written had been supplied prior to that final meeting, or
Yes, Mr.
was
Gillette.
that report in its entirety was what I was a part of a committee approving?
You did not attend that committee. However, I did send it to the committee about 2 weeks ago so that everyone would have plenty of time to read it, comment on it, and we could have another meeting to finalize it. I didn't get any feedback from you, so I don't know if you didn't have time to read it or not, but I do think that the report was distributed and plenty of time for the committee to review it and make amends to it.
No, I'm mostly certain you're right about all those things, Angela, and I apologize because I didn't see it. I missed it 2 weeks ago. And I missed the meeting. So that combination of those two events puts me in a more difficult situation because I have reservations about the way that report. Like I said a few minutes ago, I mean, when you're not there, you can't vote, and that was my fault. But the reality is, I'm one of the members of that committee, and I probably would have had a harder time had I been there or had I read that. So I just want the rest of the LEC to realize that my feelings weren't taken into account because I failed to do my job. But that's still the fact. One of the members of it.
Duly noted, Mr. Gillot. And with that, we'll move on to Mr. Duke and the report from the treasurer.
Donna, if you would look at your personal email or the secretary email and pull up the report that I sent you, that would be helpful.
Sure.
While that's getting pulled up, I'll just throw out some numbers. Our general account, sorry, actually, let me start over. This is the report, revised, official now for July, not August's. At our August meeting, I did some estimations, looked at some other sources for July. This is now the official numbers. So we had for deposits $2,270 with expenditures at $7,806 for an ending balance of $1,245. For the state account, we had 0 deposits. Expenses were $3,690, and our ending balance was $2,478. And the federal account, 0 deposits, $15,754 expenses, and our ending balance at $13,060. Since I see that Donna's got that up on the screen now, I'd rather not just read everything. So if there's any questions from what you're looking at, go right ahead.
Mr. Treasurer?
Yes.
Could you possibly distribute that to the LEC list? Because the one I'm looking at on my phone is about the size of a postage stamp. Not that I have any objection to the report at this time, but I'm pretty much quite unable to read it.
Understandable. I will work on sending that out right now. And if there's no other questions, then That would be the end of July's report. I do not have a report for August. Paul, Justin, and I have all gone to Fifth Third Bank. We have all started the process, and unfortunately, Fifth Third did not file something correctly. It has not been officially transferred. So we are still in a bit of a limbo. And Justin will be going on Monday to resolve that issue. And then I will gain remote access to the account. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. And as he said, I'll be following up with the third tomorrow, and that should be handled before the end of business. If there are no questions, we'll move along to the secretary's report.
I have no report.
Very well. That brings us on to committees. I see we have our new legislative chair here. Mr. Childress, the floor is yours if you have anything to report.
Yeah, nothing to report. My volunteer quit before she got started, but I'm working on some document organization and some ways to stay organized myself. I'll have the first meeting on the 18th. I'll send the link Monday to the coordinator so that it can go on the website, but it'll be a pretty simple meeting without anybody helping.
All right.
So,
Well, if you'd like, we can certainly send out a message to the broader list of the party, inviting them all to join you. And as there's anything that I can assist you with as the former chair of that committee, please let me know.
no problem. So that's all for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Childress and Mr. Essner.
Yeah, can we put the agenda back up on the screen?
You've got it.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead. That should have me taking over there. There you go. Donna, if you could disable your screen share, please.
Thought I did. It said it's paused.
Should be a
I
red
can
stop
see the
there.
agenda now.
I see the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see the
Okay.
agenda.
Excellent. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Essner.
All right, yeah. So fundraising. Now that we have access to emails and everything, I did send out an email to everyone who had volunteered for the 21st, just so that everyone had a reasonable amount of notice. I would like to, if they respond back, I did offer also meeting on the Wednesday the 17th at 7 as well. So same time, just on the 17th. So we could get at it a little bit faster than Sunday. Other than that, I would like to know if anybody else would like to volunteer for the committee. We can put out a general release on that. Anyone in right here wants to. And then also, I would like to ask for any ideas, and we can also send out an email asking if anybody has general fundraising ideas. Jay has already made a proposal. And I'm going to bring it up here because it revolves around us, that we all on the LEC agree to a donation amount. The donation amount monthly doesn't have to be significant, just something that shows that our money's where our mouth is. If Jay would like to say anything about that, I don't have a problem with it.
Thanks for bringing it up, Charlie. I like the idea because it is the money where your mouth, and it doesn't have to be much. And I am talking about $5 a month. To me, it's something I think we can all probably do $5 a month to the state. Is it performative? Maybe a little bit, but it's a number and it's recorded, and every one of us is on that list that way. $5 a month is $60 a year. That's times 17 or whatever. That's a fair amount of money that helps with what we're doing and gives us moral high ground to ask other people for money. I'm not talking about asking for much, but I'm saying if we can all agree individually to make this contribution, and I'm going to suggest to Jordan that we do this for West Michigan. I know I can afford $10 a month, 5 for here and 5 for there, and maybe more later, but at least I'm on the list that way. It's never been approached that way. I don't know of any time that we've considered this sense of all of us saying, you know what, we need money. We know we have to have money. And this is all, we all get time. We all give our time and troubles. So I don't think we should ask for much unless anyone can privately do it on their own. But in the meantime, it's an easy ask, I hope. But that'll go through our committee, I suppose. So maybe we cheated on that, Charlie. So anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not proposing anything. I'm just offering us an example of a suggestion that was made. That's all. Also, in my report, I did meet with Paul to discuss past fundraising amounts and rules. I know that we were still working on accessing the accounts, and he had experience, so I talked to him. I sent an email, I believe, with Western. Thank you, Raphael. And so there's other ideas on the table. So basically just putting it out there for everybody. And yeah, so if there's any questions.
We'll go to Ms. Carver first.
Well, I have two things because I had to walk away to refuel my fire. So we're talking about like a forced fundraising.
Nothing's being proposed. I'm just giving examples of suggestions for fundraising. Nothing's being proposed. We haven't actually met. I'm asking for general suggestions, and that was one suggestion that was already made, so I just brought it up. Hasn't been proposed. We haven't discussed it in committee or anything.
All right, because so now I'll speak on it if I'm allowed to. I'm not even sure anymore.
Let's keep that business to the committee meeting, not this meeting.
Yes, please.
Right on. Cool beans. I ain't fucking donating.
All right. I thought we had another hand up, but it looks like it may have gone down.
Yeah, that was me. I lowered my hand. I don't have a question at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right. We will proceed to Mr. McLean.
I think there's one.
Oh,
I've got a question.
By all means, Mr. Duke.
Charles, do you remember getting my email about the potential fundraising event in West Michigan, Newaygo County?
Yes, and that's why I included you and Jordan on the fundraising committee meeting, so that we can discuss it in that meeting. And then also, I did respond to your email. It might have gotten lost because we've been bouncing around email things. So,
okay, I just wanted to make sure it kind of was said to get it out there that we're looking at doing that.
Thank you for that, Mr. Duke. Ms. Carver for the second time.
Oh shit, my hand was accidentally up. My bad. I'm not allowed to speak.
I see no one else seeking recognition, so we'll proceed to Mr. McLean with the policy manual.
All right. So we're going to have our first meeting October 6th. It's a Monday night, 7 p.m. Anybody who's interested can either, well, actually, I'm going to send Justin the link and he's going to post it. Right, Justin?
Yes, sir.
That's still on? All right. Thank you. So, but yeah, we're looking forward to that. The exciting world of writing. All right. Anybody else who wants to help, that'd be great. So thank you guys for this opportunity. Appreciate it. And that's all I got.
No. Thank you, Rich, for taking it on. I'm looking forward to some great things from your committee. Moving along, I saw Mr. Patel here earlier. Did you have anything for membership?
Yes, I do. I'll be sharing my screen.
Certainly, I'll disable mine. You go right ahead.
Okay, this is the report from August. You see we have 2 members increased from July. And we have 1 new LPMI Life members, Mr. Kel Thompson. Just on a positive note here, the Woodward Dream Cruise event at LPFC had resulted in 2 members joining. One joined at the booth or the tent we had set up, and Mr. Thompson came to our LPLC meeting. He was at the Bitcoin side of our area, and he was part of that Bitcoin group. He came to the LPLC meeting and joined lifetime membership, so that was great. One issue, Justin, I don't know if you're getting national member data. The last time we got member data was in July 4th, actually. So we haven't had a LP national report.
I'll forward you what
over
I've
2
received.
months.
I'm not sure it's as comprehensive as you're used to getting, but I'll forward you everything I've received on that. And if there's more needed, we'll follow up on that.
Okay, there's I mean, basically we're getting spreadsheets now, and they're not consolidating with Civi CRM, so that's an issue,
Okay.
right? It's not automatically dumping to Civi, so we got data, spreadsheets for national members, and then we have Civi for LPMI members. And obviously, we're all used to using Civi. That was National's basically membership database for about a year, I guess, or a year and a half. But now we have no national members that are current in Civi CRM. So that's somewhat of a problem if we want to communicate with those folks. All right, so moving on here. We have a full committee at this point. I'm going to add Jordan Martin to the committee. He requested to be on the committee, but right now we have 6 of us on this committee. So I think the other committees obviously need people. So anybody who wants to volunteer for committees, I encourage them to volunteer for the other committees. As far as what we're doing on this committee, I could just share with you tasks. I mean, there's a bunch of tasks that we do. And everything in green we are we're informing affiliate leaders, new members, sending out membership cards, getting membership statistics sent out, tabulating event participants, removing duplicates of Civi CRM, sending emails to lapsed and national members requesting a renew. And Tori is, contacting members of chat, and Leah's working with emailing new contacts. One thing I want to get out to the affiliate chairs is a list of everybody in their affiliate. What I need to do to proceed with that, I need them to sign the NDA. So previously we had a nice system with Civi where the NDA was signed, then it was noted in Civi that the NDA has been signed. And now, Justin, you've put together an NDA. That system in Civi is not functional apparently, or was disabled.
National sunset the NDA that they had on file. Efforts were made to sort of recover what was there. And so we proceeded with a state NDA as we move forward. Yes. As far as that goes, Jamie can speak to it as far as who all is signed, but I believe we've reached out to all the committee chairs at this point regarding a signature, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie.
Could you request that of all the affiliate chairs then?
I apologize. All affiliate chairs should have received that request too.
Okay, can you let me know who has actually signed the NDA, and I will send them the list that is noted on item 13 here?
Yeah, we'll get you a list of everyone who is currently signed.
Okay, great.
I do have a list of those that have not signed, if that might be easier.
I'd rather just like the listed sign, and ideally it's noted in Civi CRM. I don't know if you turn that field back on once they sign it, or I have no way to edit that.
I do not either.
Maybe we can ask Ken.
I can reach out to Ken to see what we can do to enable that field or our ability to manage it. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, a couple more comments on membership committee that needs discussion quickly here. The PO box is in Royal Oak. I don't know if anybody besides me has been going to the PO box. I don't mind going to the PO box, but there's a number of things in there that, need to be sent to Andrew, need to be sent to Justin. So I will continue to do that, but one of the things I was doing previously, the reason I had access to PO box is, we send out flyers, postcards, whatever. We get returns, and these returns need to be documented in CVCRM that, okay, bad address, don't send this person anymore mailings to this address. So that's why I had access to begin with. But what do you want? How do you want to proceed with this PO box? Is either I can open things, because some things are checks and some things are like when we had the holiday card donations, I would document that in CVCRM. And I would mail the check to Paul Urban at the time. I can forward the mail to you, Justin. You can deal with it, or I don't know how you want to handle it. If you want to call me separately, but it needs to be resolved. I'm sitting on some mail I picked up 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure at this point the mailbox has more mailings in it that need to be retrieved. I can go retrieve them, but I need resolution on that from this board. How you want to handle that?
Certainly, I will follow up with you offline on this, but we can make arrangements to meet later this week to exchange anything that needs exchanging, and we'll figure out something that works for both our schedules, sir.
Okay, great. The other thing I want to advocate for is I know that Mr. Molman is kind of assumed kind of the IT support role for CVCRM for the states.
Mhm.
I hope that we are considering retaining Mr. Molman for this
That
activity.
was actually done at a previous special meeting, and we have retained him services for the next year.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to be sending emails to him because I have a question about some civvy issues. So that's great. The last item I want to discuss is the email situation. I know we've changed servers, or changed our provider of email. Do we still have the membership at michiganlp.org email active?
Yes, we do. Jamie can speak to it more. The mail itself is actually part of the transition to Ken's service with the CVCRM.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that before we were forwarding emails to membership at michiganlp.org to myself, to my personal email, and to other membership committee members, and we need to continue that.
Mhm.
So they can do these activities that are listed.
Excellent. Yep, we will definitely Jamie, you and myself can set up a meeting where we can coordinate all of these details, get the membership emails working as everyone wants them to be, and get everything in order there.
Okay, great. All right.
Excellent.
So that's my report. And again, our meetings are the first Wednesday of the month at 8 p.m. So next meeting will be October 3rd. Let's see. October 1st, next meeting. All right. Anyways, any questions?
It looks like Ms. Carver has her hand up.
Okay, hang on. Dude, seriously, don't do that. Stop. Sorry, I have a dog starting to bark for stupid reasons. Anyway, so there are some of us who have requested to be accessed and given our signatures to the NDA and all the things. When can we expect to get into it and learn more about it?
Membership committee voted and we're full. No more members of membership committee.
No, sweetie, I wasn't asking you. I was asking about the ability to deal with my district.
Right. Your affiliate leadership, you should have signed I don't know what your role is, Dana. Are you?
Well, I signed the NDA and I was supposed to get access to help build the first district and get affiliates in the first district. That was what I thought we were doing. That's why I filled out the information to do this. And then I was supposed to get training, I was told.
All right. Well, this will be more a question for the IT director. It doesn't seem like there's any further questions for Mr. Patel. So if Jamie, if you would like to take the floor.
Yes, as noted in the email that I sent out regarding the new mail system and that transition, that I would be planning some upcoming sessions whereby we can go through both the mail and the Civi access. I haven't as of yet got those planned just because there's been a lot of other activities going on and around, and I didn't want to schedule things back to back for everyone. So I expect probably not this week, but the week after. That way I can give sufficient notice of those training sessions. So you'll be seeing hopefully a mailing coming out this week with those dates.
Thank you, Jamie. And where are we at with the mapping of the districts in Civi? I know that was a bit of an arduous process that I'm not sure how far we've gotten with.
They are all mapped via county. We are working with Ken and Andy to see if we can do more granular mapping. But I'm still waiting for information from them.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, just
Any
FYI, I
further
was
questions?
creating users in Civi previously. So Jamie, if you got any questions on it, I mean, that process not that difficult, but before we had the automatic NDA, which signed, and that precipitated the, creation of a user in Civi. So that's critical. Who's signed the NDA and how do we know that? But anyways, if you need assistance with that, let me know with creating users. And I can attend your session if you invite me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have created several users.
Okay,
But yes,
great.
please do. Because again, I don't know what I don't know in this case. So if you're there, there may be questions that you can answer, and that would be appreciated.
Okay, very good. Okay, thanks. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Essner.
I just wanted to let you know we did skip over add the activism.
I thought we had covered both of those. But if you wanted to go ahead with activism, after Jamie's report, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll wait till after Jamie's done.
All right. Were there any questions for Jamie? Seeing none, we'll move back to Mr. Essner. Go ahead with activism.
All right. Yeah, so activism is going to be scheduled right after fundraising at 7:30 instead of 7 o'clock. Also emailed everyone with the option to be able to come on Wednesday instead of Sunday. So that's up to them if they want to. The reason why they're back to back pretty much in only a half hour partly is because a lot of the same people volunteered for both. So if there's anybody who's interested in activism, please let me know. I'll also try and send out a general email to ask for volunteers as well, because both those are a little light. And then I would like to. Whoops. Sorry. Okay. I would like to mention, as far as we haven't had a meeting yet. So any ideas for actual activism that people have, pardon me. If there's, I'm not aware of everything that's happening in the state. So for example, I know about, we have Defend the Guard, or supporting Mr. Urban, who is working on a bill in the right now for petitioning, things of that nature we can help with. So those are just kind of examples of ideas. If people know of ideas or issues around the state or organizations we can coalition with, that'd be great. And then also I would like to, and this is something we're going to discuss in the committee, but I want to let everyone here know, I really would like to know how we can use activism to improve our image. So, for example, we might advocate against food assistance, but because we don't think the government should be, taxing people and then giving money to people for food. But the problem is when you say that to most people, they say, well, opposed to what? Like, what are we going to get? And that tends to be, they think that we just want people to starve. So, for example, one thing that was suggested when I've been asking around for ideas was we'll say, we can say publicly or on social media and stuff, we're against, food assistance from the government. And then members actually show up and volunteer for like a food bank or providing stuff like that. And that way people don't just think libertarians want to take things from us. We actually have solutions and stuff like that.
Thank you for that, Mr. Essner.
So one thing I have for Mr. Quick,
Yes, Mr. Teagan.
just to add me, I'm gonna want to volunteer on the activism. I forgot if we already talked about that. I've done food drives before in my protest days, so I know how a lot of the legalities on issues like that.
Yeah, I've done food drives and stuff in the past with different organizations, and typically, we would grab onto an existing program. So, like if a church, like a larger church, has an active donation program that they already have that settled out, we would help provide the labor or advertised the drive for it. Or another one is like Eastern Michigan Food Bank, I believe it's called, in Flint. It's been a few years since I've gone over there, but I used to volunteer there regularly, and we would help sort the food in the warehouse and then distribute it around Flint when I lived in Flint. So yeah, I do know that we can't just hand food out to people. That that there's some issues there.
Yeah, as long as it's canned and sealed, it's not a problem. But anything odd, you need a license.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, and we will definitely get you included in the future emailings there, Tim. Looks like the announcements have all been covered through the committee reports. Did anyone have anything to add for announcements?
I would seek the floor to make a financial audit committee report.
By all means, Mr. Duke, the floor is yours.
I sent out an email to everyone on this board looking for recommendations of who should be on that committee. Once getting those recommendations, I have reached out to those individuals, and regardless of your response back to me, I want everyone to be aware that we will be meeting right after this meeting on the same Zoom link, hopefully for just 10 minutes, to pick the date that we'll set for our meetings, appoint a secretary, and just know who is going to be on this committee. So please stick around afterwards.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. I do appreciate that. And Ms. Carver, any announcements?
Yes, we have a lot of things going on in the UP, and people should look into Mr. Woods and see what he has to say about that. And that's about all I have to say.
Thank you for that. And any further announcements?
Yep.
Go ahead, Mr. Essner.
Yeah, so I would like to announce that I would like to possibly make a I would like to announce that I would like to do something in regards to the violence that we've seen lately, political violence. I know that it's not necessarily something we would decide in announcements, but I want to make sure that we think about what's been going on. I have some ideas of what we could maybe say, and something that we could bring up maybe in new business. That's something we could agree to put out there.
Thank you for that, Mr. Essner. And seeing no further announcements, we'll move on for member comments, if there are any. Mr. Evans, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few quick items here. First of all, I do want to iterate my support for restoring the Genesee affiliate. And when I read the bylaws, when I read two sections in combination, section 4.4 and then section 4.2, I believe that although affiliates enjoy autonomy, there are exceptions made in 4.4. And among the exceptions, you will find in 4.2 quite a bit of powers given to the LEC to create new affiliates as they for the best of the party going forward. I would again reiterate my support for that. Also wanted to mention some legislation that is making rapid movement in the area of recipient rights for mental health patients. So, of course, when we want to protect rights and liberty for everyone, certainly are some of our most vulnerable population. I think if you take a look at two House bills, there's a House Bill 4218 and a House Bill 4219. Between 4218 and 4219, there's a number of reforms contained that will improve rights for mental health recipients. I just wanted to give a quick shout out for those two bills. And also, I did want to give just a big thank you to everyone who's taken on committee chairs, committee memberships, directors. Really appreciate you guys all stepping up for the party. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Any further comments? And if you could take your hand down, please. Thank you. And we will move on to old business, a continuation of the motion to rescind the disaffiliation of the Genesee affiliate occurring on April 1st, 2023. The gavel is Mr. Teagan's, as business was tabled on this motion. And given that everyone had spoken at length prior, everyone will be afforded the opportunity to speak once on the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we know, this is a controversial issue. It has been a very divisive issue. Right now, no matter which way the vote swings, there will be people in the party that are not going to be happy with the outcome. That being said, I do believe specifically we have to talk about what is the best outcome for the party. If it should be done immediately, if it should be worked upon better with the thumb affiliate, and we reach out more with the people of Genesee County, if it should be not handled at all, this is up to this executive committee to decide. I have feelings that do go both ways on this topic. Unfortunately, I was incarcerated at the time this all transpired, so I did not have the chance to witness this firsthand. And mostly just due on that fact, my vote on this issue will probably have to be to abstain. But I do want everyone to consider not what your personal feelings are, but what is best for the Libertarian Party of Michigan and what is best for our constituents and all the members of the affiliates in question. That is the statement I would like to say on this issue, is no matter what happens, let's all work together when this is done. I concede the floor.
The gavel is yours, Mr. Teagan, so you can call based on the order of hands raised.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Leah Daly.
So at this time, it's not that I'm commenting on this motion, but I was wondering if Mr. Teagan or Mr. Miramonte can remind me why Mr. Miramonte was handing the gavel, because it was some opinion. If you can just reiterate what there was an opinion about, whether or not this was doable. Is that why?
I didn't quite catch everything you said. Justin, would you like to re-elaborate?
Well, yes, there was a ruling from the chair in our last meeting that had ruled that this motion was in fact out of order, based on the fact that I do feel that it violates the Thumb's autonomy to remove a county from their affiliate and the delegates therein, without a proper disaffiliation vote being conducted. And it is true what Ms. Caney or Ms. Thornton has pointed out in the email, that my ruling is no longer subject to further review as it has already been voted on. However, given that, as it's been stated earlier, fraud negates consent, I would note that Mr. Brown had not been consulted on this matter, and he's willing to opine on the matter, by the way, but he will charge us $250 to $500. So anyone who overturned my previous ruling on the grounds that Mr. Brown had thought that it was parliamentarily in order did so under the guise of misinformation.
Thank you, Justin. Next hand up I see as Dana Carver.
I would say that this is like a point of information, or I don't even know what the fuck you call it. Anyway, but no, Mr. Brown, I have screenshots. There was no misinformation. It was all straight up. Can we overturn this with a certain threshold of votes? Was all I asked him. And he told me the threshold of votes we needed to overturn this. And there is nothing else to say. And I would welcome Mr. Brown, and I would actually come up with the money to help pay for Mr. Brown. If I could send him weed to freaking out Louisiana, I would do it so that I could pay for this, because no, there is no misinformation. This is straight up. I said it was overturned. It was disaffiliated by this many votes. How many votes do we need to do the rescinding of this? And he goes, no, you don't need the same amount of votes in the bylaws to rescind it. You just need a majority to undo what they did. And so what they did was they gave somebody's bicycle away. I'll keep saying it. And then now you guys say that we can't give the bicycle back to the person who bought the bicycle. Like, this is what is so stupid. Like, I don't know why we keep fighting this stupid battle with this stupid shit. Like, we made a committee and we did the committee things, and we did a thing with the committee and all the things. Justin, you did not give him everything that you gave him, that I gave him. Dude, we had a committee. We did what the committee was supposed to do. And then now you're trying to, as a chair, go against the committee. Like, you're a chair. Your job is just to let us do our job. But you're going against us as a chair, and it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense at all. So we voted, we saw, we did. We have Richard Brown, and I know we have him because I talked to him way before you did. And now we're doing this stupid thing, and it makes no sense that we have to keep fighting this fight, dude. Just give back what was stolen, because we're libertarians. We don't steal. We don't hurt people, and we don't take their stuff. So Genesee County, their stuff was taken. We don't do that. So we can't give stuff to another affiliate that stole their stuff. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Thank you, Dana. Libertarian Party of Michigan, is that you, Justin?
No, that's Donna. I have not spoken yet on this, but
All right, I see your hand up. Then I still see Leah Daly's hand up, and then Jay's.
Yeah, I just have like a point of information or inquiry, possibly. Before I get too lost in all the weeds, Mr. Miramonte had mentioned something that Miss Thornton had said in her reading of that report earlier, that I was asking the fraud. I didn't write it down properly here, but it's that the fraud negates procedure. Can somebody help me with this just real quick? Because it kind of seems like a important information when it comes to the Genesee. There was a saying there. And if somebody can just help me capture that properly. Fraud
Negates consent.
negates consent. Okay, thank you. And then I would like clarification about what that means pertaining to this issue, but maybe that can come up after some comments. I'm not sure. Like what fraud? I mean, Dana talked about stealing, but I mean, a vote from the board, that's not stealing, and it's within the bylaws, that's not stealing. But I don't know if that's what's the issue.
As the writer, Angela, would you like to make a quick comment to clarify on Leah's behalf what fraud was in question?
Can someone let these other guys in the lobby in?
why do they keep leaving?
Some people got kicked out because of their internet sitch.
Justin, are you able to? I don't see them on my end.
It's already done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I called on before, or I'm confused at what. I know you said me and then Leah, so then Leah went. So is she done or?
Yeah, I was asking if Angela wanted to quickly confirm her point of inquiry on the fraud, but I haven't heard back.
She just rejoined the meeting, so I don't know if she had heard that.
I can take the answer to my question after some more comments come through. I wrote it down properly here, so before
All right.
any votes happen, I would just like that to be maybe addressed.
Thank you. Appreciate
Certainly.
it. Thanks, Leah. All right, Donna, you have the floor.
Yeah, I would like to say two things, and this drama is ridiculous on both sides, I think. Number one, we have always encouraged counties to start their own affiliates. We have said many times that our goal is to have each county have their own affiliate. So I don't understand why we have to say who is invited to which meeting. We have a county who wants to start an affiliate. And that we should be encouraging that. And as far as going back through fraud and what was done, and in the past, this board was elected to be a new board for fresh starts. So I'm supporting the reaffiliation, but I'm tired of arguing about the drama and the past stuff. We need new affiliates. We need new people. There's room for both affiliates, and let's just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. I believe we're then next to Jay, Charles, and then Scotty.
As someone who was disaffiliated, and we went through a process that we're not back, I'm quite sympathetic to the issues of Genesee. And that's why I joined that committee. And to be honest, like I said earlier, my failure to read that document and then be on the meeting to respond to that document caused there to be a gap in a piece of what Dana was saying, because it was the thing, but this part of the thing missed that thing. And again, it's my job, but it wasn't there. The fact of the matter is, the report, Angie, ends up looking more like a litigator's presentation rather than a committee's final report. Which does not mean I don't want Genesee to be reaffiliated. But the real question to me is how you need to do it. And I'm going to agree with Donna. There's got to be a way that can simply handle, and if it takes a couple months, does it matter? It may matter, but does it matter? If it takes a month, does it matter? What can we do as a board to help Genesee without going back and relitigating everything that happened and recreating documents and trying to do something with what happened in the past? That is our responsibility as the board. We're responsible for the last board did. I don't want this to be a. We're in very much of a situation of vanquishing the foe here. That's all I'll say. And I think everybody understands it. Maybe my principle's right, but maybe people will be offended by that. But I'm not sure I'm wrong about that. I wanted to be reaffiliated, and I got reaffiliated as fast as you guys let us, thanks mostly to Jordan. But where do you want to take this? And do you want how do you want this to play out? Because in some ways you say, well, they got the bike, and you got to get the bike back. But if you got to break into the other guy's garage to get it back, is that okay? I mean, to some degree, this kind of breaks the system a little bit by doing these things. And that's my only concern. So, again, my apologies to the board for not, to the committee for not being there and raising these things first. My having to do it now is awkward. And again, I apologize. I'm sorry. Now you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. All right, over to you, Mr. Charles Essner.
Yeah. My biggest concern is just that, I think that every county should have its own affiliate, ideally. And when we reaffiliated Western, we made sure there was one question about the bylaws in there that they would be able to easily split without having this situation that we have now. And that was like a key thing for me when we reaffiliated them, that was taken care of. So we did not have this problem. And my only concern is that the past board came in and did things heavy-handedly, and then we come in and do things heavy-handedly. And instead of fixing the problem, we're shifting the problem one way or the other and not really resolving it. And then we're setting ourselves up for more fighting in the future. Or some things I've heard expressed, maybe not specifically, but I've heard expressed that, like, if we do this split, that it will cause some angst, and there's some people that are going to resist or fight, or I don't know exactly what their intentions are, but they're definitely not okay with it. So I'm concerned about that. And also I think I would like to know what's going on with the stuff in front of the JC currently. I would prefer that be resolved, whether what's in front of the JC is removed. They say, never mind, we'll let the LEC take care of it. I don't really care. I just would like to be one mode or the other. If we're going to go down the JC route, let's get that over with, get it cleaned up. If we're going to go down this route, can we get the JC stuff off the table? So that's all I have about it.
Thank you, Charles. All right, over to you, Mr. Bowman. Well, you're still muted, Scotty.
Okay, I was gonna say I probably am on that committee as well and didn't show up, so Jay, you're not alone. And I've been busy with a lot of things, but let me just put out there where I stand on this whole thing. Is ultimately, I don't think any organization has a right to claim a region as somehow its territory without the consent of those residing in said territory. And in, whether that be governments, or in this case, we're talking about a voluntary organization. And this voluntary organization has people living in Genesee County. And I'm wondering how many of the people actually in Genesee County, and who are actually residents of that's where they vote, wish to remain as a part of this Thumb affiliate, and how many wish to be part of a Genesee County affiliate. That really putting all the past history aside, and it was a sad, not pretty history here on the whole issue. Right at the moment, has there been any attempt to get some kind of count of what the members, Libertarian Party of Michigan members living in Genesee County actually want. I've heard from some. I know Angie lives there. I know Andy lives there. I don't know who else does, and how many people, for instance, are friends of Connor and want, or simply wish to be part of the Thumb affiliate. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear from people that know more about this, as far as actual Genesee residents who have an opinion on this.
All right. Thank you very much, Scotty, for that input. Next hand raised was Mr. Lawrence Johnson.
Yes, I was just reviewing the letter that Justin sent to Mr. Brown. And in this letter, his very first paragraph makes the claim that the prior LEC did not have the authority to disaffiliate Genesee. In my opinion, that means that the Genesee affiliate technically does exist now and has always existed. And therefore, the Thumb did not have the right to claim that territory. If this is the case, then our motion would simply be to affirm the fact that the Genesee affiliate exists and that they have prior claim to the county of Genesee as part of their affiliate versus the Thumb, since they existed prior to the Thumb affiliate. In addition to that, there do seem to be a number of people that claim to have not received notification. We've heard of at least, 4 to 6 that are making that claim. Whether that was because they weren't maintaining their membership at the time or for whatever reason, I'm not going to call them liars. The effort was apparently made to send notification, but it appears to have been complete. But however, that in and of itself could be considered quite immaterial, as it seems that the claim is that the Genesee affiliate was never properly disaffiliated. And this motion would basically take the form of saying that we recognize that they do exist and have always existed, and that the claim of the Thumb to forcibly integrate them into their affiliate was improper. And in addition to that, I don't know if this actually ever went to the Judicial Committee or not, but there also seems to be some direct testimony that the chair at the time claimed to have a captive JC that would always rule in his favor. So whether this was adjudicated by that JC or not, that claim, basically the heart of the claim of fraud, is that there was a captive JC that would find some justification to always rule in the favor of the chair at that time. And I yield the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next hand raise I see again is Miss Dana Carver.
Okay, so what we come down to is a screenshot that I'm still looking at that does not get rid of the screenshots that I've shared over and over with my conversation with Mr. Brown that says that all of this is not a problem. So we could pay Mr. Brown to come in and give us more information, or we could just do the screenshots that I have where I talk about how this was done and how do we undo it. And he gave us the instructions to undo it. And I don't understand why our chair wants to fight this so hard and why we have to keep having this conversation. Because I swear to God, and I'll go back to the goddamn bike. Like, if somebody stole my kid's bike and I had to go get it back, I wouldn't give a freak if the government gave the bike to them. And that's what we're talking about. I mean, it's just so stupid. Like, just give Genesee back their space. The Thumb can survive without Genesee, and I don't understand why they need to keep it. And this is just the further divide. Let's get over it. Let's just be done. Let's give Genesee back to Genesee. The Thumb can still be the Thumb because Genesee is not even part of the Thumb. and any map in this entire state, does that actually happen? Like, so, like, none of this makes sense, and it's just a big fucking fight, and I don't understand why our chair is the one fighting so hard against this. That is what is so amazing to me, that a committee has met, a committee made a proposition to the board, and the chair is fighting the committee. I mean, that makes no sense to me at all. None. Like, this is what we've been dealing with for years, and it's got to stop, dude.
Point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair. I just want to point out that I lost internet, so I'm not even sure where we are on the agenda right now. I'm also on Dave's phone, so I apologize for any confusion that might cause. And I thank you for your patience on my interruption there.
No problem, Miss Thornton. Next hand up was Mr. Justin Miramonte.
Yes, I'd actually entertain a motion to allow Mr. McLean to speak. He's requested a few times in the chat, and he was present at the time of the disaffiliation of Genesee. He may have something pertinent to add. And then I would proceed to the floor if it's agreeable.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposition?
What is the motion?
Exactly.
To allow Rich to speak.
A non-board member to speak at this time on the matter.
I support.
I believe the ayes have it. He's welcomed in.
Thanks, guys. So when we affiliated the Thumb, I know I personally asked several times on what the people of Genesee were, what their will was, what they were feeling. And they assured the LEC at the time that Genesee was, they were either inactive or they were for joining the Thumb. So when it comes to the LEC itself, we voted for the Genesee to be a part of the Thumb based on that information. Just so everyone knows that the LEC, we were actually acting on that information. So when it says, so anyways, now I don't know the accuracy of that. There's no way for us to have been able to, if we have to go through like I need medication for paranoia, we're never going to get anything done. So we voted to affiliate the Thumb region with Genesee County included based on that information. That's number one. Number two, thank you, Donna. And I completely agree with her. And I don't understand why we're holding this county beholden to the Thumb affiliate. If they want to be their own affiliate, there's nothing in the bylaws stopping them from becoming an affiliate. And if that means you want to call it a reaffiliation, you can call it anything you want to call it, but let's let them do their will as a people, because they belong being able to do that as libertarians and really as Americans. If they want to be a part of this party as a separate affiliate, they belong being able to do that. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for coming on, Rich. Quick inquiry, was everyone allowed one time to speak or 3 times to speak on this matter?
Per Roberts, it's 2.
2. Thank you. All right, Jay, I believe this is your second time?
No, Mr. Chair, I'm not going to speak of this matter again. I'm sorry. We all pretty much agree that we want Genesee to be its own county, its own affiliate. And now we're arguing about whether we go back to the past or move forward. I almost want to abstain about the whole thing at this point. So I guess that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Jay. Next, I think again was Mr. Miramonte, and then we're over to Leah Daly again.
I'll pass to Miss Daly and then make my remarks.
All right, Miss Daly, and this was your first time on this matter or second time?
Well, the first question I had was about why why yourself was, I just wanted to reiterate why Mr. Teagan was holding the gavel. So it wasn't that I was speaking on the matter. And then my second one was a point of information, I guess, regarding what the fraud that overrides or negates consent. And then I I was asking for a little bit more clarification about what the fraud was. So I did at that time. So it's not that I have spoken on the, we'll say the motion, but I don't know if it'd be appropriate at this time to have my question answered from earlier about what the fraud was.
I believe it's an order. And Ms. Angela Thornton, as the drafter of the recommendation, would you like to clarify on your wording fraud in that?
The reasons we were disaffiliated are not were not the reasons. We were given a list of things that we had to do to come into compliance. We did those things, and then we were disaffiliated anyway. We did not appeal because Andrew had told me that the JC was going to rule in his favor all the time. That's why they wanted those seats. And I will point out as evidence to that statement that the JC at no point ever ruled against Andrew Chatterton in the entire 2 years that they were found. I'm also of the mindset that we are just tired of fighting about this. I would, I don't have the floor right now, so I can't go on, but arguing about whether we can overturn it with a motion, to previously to undo something that was previously done or whatever the motion is. I mean, the board has already overturned the chair on that. If he has a problem with that, he needs to go to the JC. Other than that, I think we should just, someone who has their hand up should just call the question, and we should just move on for, whichever way it goes. We can move ahead. I'm weary of this battle. I've been fighting it for 4 years. It's really expensive, and I'm tired. I can live with the board's decision. That was the deal we made. We would happily abide by any board decision as long as the board was legitimately elected, and we're there now. So I would say,
so just to clarify, the fraud is that it was the fraud was that it was a crooked JC in some regard.
The fraud is, yes, well, it was a crooked JC and all of and you've got it on you. You gave us, Leah Daly, you gave us a list of things that we had to do in order to come into compliance. We did those, and then Andrew said, no, that's not good enough. And what he wanted was for us to swear our affiliation to him. And I will, for those of you who were not on, and I'm really sorry to go down this rabbit hole, this is always awful. For those of you guys who were not around at that time, the Genesee affiliate was trying desperately to stay in the middle when they wanted everyone to swear their allegiance to Andrew and
the leadership of the party at that time. Not the alternative leadership.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I have the floor, Ms. Daly. If you want to interrupt me, then I'll stop talking. But I can't hear you when you interrupt me.
I thought we were sharing, but that's okay.
Okay, that's all right. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Everybody knows what happened. I'm done talking. If Tim wants to address these allegations, that's fine. But I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Thornton. Does that answer your inquiry by any chance, Ms. Daly?
Yes, it does. I'd like to just put my hand up for my own comment on the motion, I guess, but I'll get in line.
All right. I believe we go back to Mr. Miramonte, and then I believe it'll be Mr. Essner's your second time. All right.
Mr. Esther's second time. This will be my first. I was responding to Ms. Daly's question earlier. So just to touch on what Larry had mentioned, I don't know that you maybe didn't have time to fully review it, but let me just clarify what it was my position as. So the disaffiliation process is outlined in our bylaws. The board
point of order here. We already overruled you on this, Mr. Chair. We ruled that we could undo the disaffiliation but through this process.
Mr. Teagan, the floor is mine. I would appreciate to not be interrupted.
I am allowed. This is this this is a proprietary motion. I am allowed to interrupt you on this. This is out of order. If you're bringing up the same argument you already got overruled on,
I was
you need to
responding
go.
to a comment
You
that
need to.
Mr. Johnson made that was pursuant to our vote here this evening. I'm sorry you missed that part, Ms. Canny or Ms. Thornton, but he did bring something up regarding the emails that I had up, and I was just responding to that.
And
Because
so was
he
I.
had stated.
I
Okay.
second Ms. Kenny's
Okay.
statement. She should have made into a motion.
I believe Justin is within his right to continue at this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Teagan. So, see, much was made of how fraud negates consent, and Mr. Brown had not been thoroughly consulted regarding our bylaws on this, as is evidenced by the email. Now,
I object.
Ms. Thornton is correct.
I
that
object.
My ruling is. Oh, okay. I will abide
You can't
further
object
interruption.
to a comment here from him.
I'm not the chair, so it's really inappropriate to object at this time. But
I believe he
Mr.
does have
Teagan is holding the gavel.
at this moment. I do not see anything that is currently out of order.
So I'll reiterate, the ruling of the chair is not subject to further interpretation. But much was made in the subcommittee's report about how fraud negates consent. And that vote at that time was made with the understanding that Mr. Brown had given this a thorough review, including of our bylaws, and had given it a full-throated endorsement. And as is evidenced by the email, that is not the case. Now,
You
back
weren't even
to...
there.
I would like
I
to
requested for Mr. Brown to discuss his opinion on the matter, and he had informed me that he had not reached one. If you're questioning Mr. Brown, that is entirely under your purview, but that's that's another matter altogether. But to Mr. Johnson's point earlier, if I may continue, it is my view that Genesee was not disaffiliated, but in fact, in their failure to end, even if we concede wholeheartedly that the JC would have ruled whatever Andrew wanted, there is an appellant body specified in our bylaws of the national JC. And failure to appeal to both of those bodies is constituted as secession under our bylaws. And so therefore, it was not my ruling that Genesee was ever disaffiliated, but in fact, they seceded from the party by failing to appeal to both of those bodies. Even if those appeals had been overturned, but made, that might have influenced my ruling, quite frankly, but they weren't. And so that act of secession did in fact take place in my view. And that is one of the numerous things that complicates matters for Mr. Brown. But ultimately, as was stated earlier, my ruling is no longer subject to interpretation. So the board can take that information with it and do with it as they will. Further, the bigger question here is, what kind of a board do we want to be? And, Jay alluded toward this earlier. I was on the predecessor's board and disagreed with him on numerous occasions. What we're proposing here tonight goes beyond anything Andrew Chatterton ever tried to do with the LEC.
Oh, please.
Significantly beyond. There is a proper process to disaffiliate the thumb if we want to infringe upon their rights. The only reason it's not being brought forth is because it requires 2/3. And perhaps the body wouldn't grant that 2/3. And that would be the only way that it would be proper to take away those delegates that have been engaged into a contractual relationship with the party, as all affiliates are. And we have sworn not to abridge their autonomy. And it is worth pointing out that, all these bylaws predate any time Connor or Andrew were on the board. They've been around a long time. And so if we wish to throw away our principles just because we're a little bit angry, that's, the board's within its right to do that. I just don't think it's well advised. And I yield the floor.
Thank you, Justin. I believe the order we are in is Mr. Eschner for a second time. Mr. Johnson, I believe it will be your first time on this motion. Leah, I forget if this is your first or second. I know you had a point of inquiry. I forgot what that counted as. Dana, I do believe you've spoken 2 times already. And due to Roberts, I think you're only limited to points of personal privilege and points of inquiry at this point.
Do you have proof that I spoke twice on this motion? Because I spoke on the beginning when we introduced it as a committee, but I don't think I've spoken twice on this actual motion.
I believe you had, unless I miscounted.
I did do a point of order against Justin, but I guess it didn't count.
I don't know if our secretary had any of that caught by any chance.
No. I can't write down every single comment. We have it on the recording.
Didn't assume so. I just so if I did overcount you, I do apologize. Any mistakes I make are genuine, believe me. So in that regard, I believe we are to Charles.
Yeah, for me, the concern is just a matter of the process. I think everybody should have their own county.
I just want to call the fucking question.
You don't have the floor. You're not recognized.
If that's in order, well, Charles Essner has the floor, however.
Yeah. Point of order is not an interrupting motion.
It isn't? All right.
I continue.
I believe. Sorry, I'm not the best on the etiquette on here. Unless anyone would like to bring up that it would be out of order for Mr. Essner to continue, I believe it's in order, and then we can go to call the question fairly soon, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the floor is Mr. Essner's, as I see it. Yep. Mr. Bowman agrees in chat.
Okay, thank you. I want Tennessee to be really reaffiliated. As I said earlier, we saw some bylaw changes that made us comfortable reaffiliating other regions so that they could then split off easily. I don't understand why the thumb can't do this themselves. If there's enough people in Genesee County who would be part of the thumb right now, why can't the thumb resolve this by letting them split off, and then we don't have to appear to be meddling in other affiliates in this way? It's more a matter of process than whether there shouldn't be an affiliate. I think there should be an affiliate. I'm concerned about the process and causing more problems in the future.
All right, thank you, Mr. Essner. I believe next was Mr. Lawrence Johnson.
Yes. I just to remind you, I had spoken previously on this, but I'm not here. I did not ask for the floor to speak to this. I asked for the floor so I could call the previous question. And just as a point of information, we will need the motion read to us once we do that if we decide to pass it.
All right, we have a call to question. Ms. Secretary, could you reiterate the motion on the floor?
Well, the motion was in the minutes was simply the motion to rescind the disaffiliation of the Genesee affiliate occurring on April 1st, 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I forgot, do we have to vote to call the question?
Yes, we do.
All right, that's what I imagined. All right, all in favor of calling the question, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
It appears the ayes do have it. All right, we will begin the vote. I would entertain a motion for a roll call vote if that's how people would prefer it.
So moved.
Do I need a second on that, I believe?
Second.
All right, quick vote. All in favor of a roll call vote?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All right, ayes have it. We're going to do a roll call vote on this matter. Ms. Secretary, if you would like to lead us in that?
Tim Teagan,
Point of information.
Yes, Mr.
I wish to hear the motion read over.
Oh, sorry, we did it once. We can do it again. Ms. Secretary, if you would reiterate the motion one more time for us.
motion to rescind the disaffiliation of the Genesee affiliate occurring on April 1st, 2023.
So I have an order question regarding that. If in fact there was no disaffiliation, but rather it was a secession, would rescinding the disaffiliation have any effect?
It was a disaffiliation vote. They voted to disaffiliate.
Ah, okay.
To answer your question, Scotty, the answer is no, this would have no effect because they seceded.
That would be a question for the Judicial Committee.
Thank you, Mr.
Point of
Johnson.
information, that was a lie from the chair. There was no seceding. It was a motion to disaffiliate.
That's not a point of information. That's just saying whatever you want to say.
No, it's a point
That's
of
just interrupting to say whatever you want to say.
No, it's a point of information.
We're in the middle of a vote.
This is
We're in the middle of a vote. We're in the middle of a vote.
Can you call the members to order, please?
This is in the minutes. It is in the minutes of the.
We're in the middle of a vote.
It is in the
Sorry, you're out of order.
party. It is in the minutes of the party that on that date that is in the freaking motion, this happened.
We're in the middle of a vote.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter.
Vote. It does.
You don't get to just say a whole bunch of stuff when we're in the middle of a vote. I could do the same thing. We're voting.
Okay, Tim
Right?
Teagan.
Someone just said that somebody seceded. No one
Tim, please call
on
this to
that
order.
day. No one seceded on that day.
Mute her.
On
Mute
that
her.
day
Mute
it was
her.
seceded. I'm sorry, you cannot interrupt me. You cannot have the chair say that somebody seceded on that
We
day.
can interrupt each other. You made that a rule.
All right, can we have enough? Either way, I believe it's just time we vote and we get through this in a very polite, respectable manner with one of each other.
Okay, Tim, are you voting?
I will abstain on this matter.
Okay, Scott Bowman,
Aye.
Andrew, Duke.
Yes.
I vote yes. Dana,
Yes.
Jay,
I'm
Jay, are you
sorry,
there?
yes. I apologize, yes. Yes.
Okay, we have Tori.
Abstain.
Okay, Raphael,
That's yes.
John,
He had to drop off.
okay, Larry,
Yes.
Leah,
No.
Angela,
Yes.
Charles,
No.
Mike,
Yes.
Justin.
No.
Okay, 9-3-1. Motion passes. I'm sorry, two abstaining, I'm sorry.
And
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Simple majority, correct?
The motion passes.
All right.
And on to communications discussion. So at present,
Mr. Mayor Monty?
Yes.
All right, gavel is yours.
Thank you. We'll move right along to the communications discussion. As of a few weeks back, our secretary here, Scundle Krieg, has taken on the newsletter director role and issued a wonderful first newsletter. In regards to communications on the social media, I believe the current arrangement has been a split of responsibility between Donna Gundel Krieg and Jamie, as well as a couple of various affiliates assisting or various associates assisting. In terms of how we proceed upon this, we've been requesting volunteers But the question before the board is whether we'd like to proceed in terms of directorship role for the communications, or if we'd like to go to a committee. So the floor is open for discussion on that topic. And I will await the first hand raised. And Mr. Johnson, floor is yours.
Oh yes, I know that we've had a bunch of different Facebooks and whatnot. I'm wondering what we're doing to consolidate some of that, because we have the unofficial discussion page, which is very active. We have the official Michigan group, which is not as active, and I think we need to kind of transition all this and maybe collapse some of these down into each other. I don't know if we have the authority to actually close Facebook groups as a group. Probably is whoever created them has that authority. And but we have, a lot of our major channels that we've been using for communication are still labeled as unofficial, and that's my concern that we, as an admin of the Michigan discussion page, I do have a concern that we make sure that we, figure out how we want to handle this and which groups we're going to make our official groups and which ones are going to be used for announcements and stuff. Anyways, that's all. I yield the floor.
Thank you for that. And just as a point of information from the chat here, and I can actually make that myself. So there are unofficial places where members in the party can associate that are set up by members. There are also official party social media pages. So in terms of the official social media pages, all efforts will be made to redirect and unify that to a single Libertarian Party of Michigan official Facebook page and an official Twitter account. Members are free to continue with their unofficial discussion groups and pages. If the board wanted to make something official, that may be something to consider, but ultimately that would not really be feasible in terms of the way the party asset works. The actual account has its own discussion page. And so that would be the official party discussion page. Now, all efforts have been made and I believe Donna can attest to this. Everyone has been unblocked from that. And so everyone's free to engage there. And that is the official party asset. That being said, not sure whose hand was up.
If I could real quick, in regards to the unblocking, I did notice that, for instance, I'll just use for instance, it jumped out at me on the block list, AOC. Whether that's somebody clowning around or is the actual U.S. House of Representatives, I noticed there were a lot of garbage names on the block list. I'm just hoping we didn't blanket unblock everybody.
Not on the Twitter, no, but on the Facebook, yes, and we are free to reblock as needed.
Okay.
That I'm not sure whose hand is up next. I'm going to go to Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, I actually was a little unclear on this discussion. So I want to know the distinction between director versus committee, and are we talking about just social media? Are we talking about the newsletter? Are we talking about IT? And also, once that's clarified, what does Donna and Jamie have to say about this?
All right, so I'll clarify. So the IT is its own role. The newsletter is a clearly defined role within the bylaws. Those are two separate entities. They do overlap with communications to some extent, but to the extent that communications has existed insofar as my time at the party, it has been primarily to facilitate the communications of the social media pages and to some extent aid the secretary in terms of notice and things like that at times. So ultimately, this would be more of a social media director role or a social media committee that we're discussing. And does that answer your question, Scotty?
I think so. So you're saying we got a director for IT. The newsletter is under the secretary, but social media may be a director, or it might be a committee. Is that what I'm getting?
Correct. So we had the resignation of our former communications director. That was tabled at our first meeting. And so we're resuming that discussion now as to how we proceed with the communications assets of the party.
Now, could a director simply be the chair of the committee? Is that
Yes and no. So a director wouldn't necessarily need to seek volunteers. They could certainly appoint assistants, whereas a committee would seek at least, a minimum quorum to hold votes on certain issues. Um, you know, and so as I recall the conversation from the members of the board at the time, just to sort of recharacterize it, the advantages to the directorship model are just sort of more real-time responses. Sometimes having to vote out tweets can be cumbersome, and maybe not as timely as they need to be to get the effect you want. Whereas a committee can, certainly have more measured messaging and sort of more thorough review. And so that's sort of the balance we're seeking to navigate here.
And I'd like to hear from Donna and Jamie on that.
Certainly. Well, Donna had her hand up next, and then we'll, if there's no objection, give the floor over to Ms. Van Alstine.
Okay, I think the most important thing to do is decide, do we want LinkedIn? Do we want Instagram? Do we want to do press releases? I don't think we should do either one of those unless we get somebody who really is passionate about, we could keep our LinkedIn up. Instagram is something that's a whole nother thing, and I want to do it well. So I could see a director, but I also could see a committee, which would right now be me and Jamie, just dividing responsibilities. But my biggest question is, who is it, this board or is it the committee that decides, are we still going to do Instagram? Are we going to do press releases? Like I wanted to do a statement on Charlie Kirk, but I'm not going to speak for the whole party. Do we need a board meeting if we're going to do those kind of statements? So I just posted Indiana's statement, which was really good. And I just made that decision since I'm the one doing Facebook. So I guess I'm saying that a committee I think is a good way to do it as long as we have the right people on the committee and it doesn't get too overwhelming and everybody has their own distinct job versus everybody trying to do everything, if that makes sense. Anyway, the PR releases was one thing Charles brought up, doing something like that, and I've had that question for a long time. How do we want to handle it? Do we want to just go with what National says? That type of thing. So there's a lot to communications. You could do a little bit or a lot. And we don't have a ton of people, so. And one more thing, Justin is an excellent writer and he does a lot of his own writing. So if he were to write a statement and everybody were to look at it, that would be an option too, or however, if we want to respond publicly to issues, communication issues. So I'm leaning towards a committee, but I could go either way.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Donna. Go to Ms. Van Alstine now. Just for any comments that you had, unless there's an objection from the board. Go ahead, Jamie.
Just to correct the record for everyone, my last name is Van Alstine, like Frankenstein. So just to help you out. I actually don't have an opinion either way. I think a committee would be perfectly fine. Donna and I have been, I think, doing okay in managing the two main accounts that we're currently focusing on. That is the official Facebook page and Twitter. I certainly would appreciate input. I don't know how best that would be managed. I think maybe the committee. And of course, if that is the case, I would be happy for some additional volunteers. I don't know that Instagram really is kind of I don't know if it really supports our kind of messaging. I'm not saying it does or doesn't, but there are always new social media platforms, and having someone familiar with those, the flexibility of adding them as needed and adapting our strategy, I think may be better supported in a committee.
Thank you, Jamie. And we'll go to Mr. Essner next.
Yeah, so I think it'd probably be good to have a committee. I would like to see a like some other things other than just Twitter or Facebook. Um, for example, like the Discord. There's a national Discord. There's unofficial Michigan Discords. You know, I would like to have something like that. It's really convenient as far as discussion and organization goes. Then also, um, I would be interested in seeing if we could, open up more than just Twitter and Facebook as far as social media. Um, I thought Instagram you could easily do something. I think Jordan said something in the chat about how you could easily link Facebook in that. I don't know much about it. I try not to post. But then also like TikTok, I had a guy from New York who is doing a lot of like libertarian. I guess there's a pretty active like debate area on TikTok where all these people talk to each other. And I mean, it's it's too chaotic. I don't like it. But I did try just messing around. I would see a Facebook post or a Twitter post, and I would just on my personal, I would go and just screenshot and post with a little music behind it on like TikTok, and you would get interaction pretty quickly and some conversation. So, and there's a lot of young people on there if we're trying to get younger people interested. And also, I think like Facebook, there's a demographic in Facebook. It's very siloed. There's a demographic in X. They're very siloed. And I think TikTok has different people in it. I think the different platforms have different people.
Much appreciated, Mr. Essner. Now, I hear a motion to establish a committee? Last two speakers have spoken in favor of it.
I so move.
Does that motion have a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any opposition to continuing with communications as a committee? Going twice. Hearing none, we will proceed in committee fashion. Mr. Teagan, I'm going to pass the gavel to you for a moment as I make a motion to appoint Donna Gundel-Krieg, the chair of this committee.
Was that a motion?
I was making a motion to appoint after passing the gavel, yes. So far, it has not been seconded.
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Sorry, did you pass the gavel back over to me? I had to talk to my family real quick.
Point of information. Point of information. Does Donna accept?
Yes, I do.
Oh, apologies.
That is an important point.
All right. So the motion's been moved and seconded, and Donna does accept. I gave the gavel to Tim because I made the motion. So floor's yours, Tim. Or the gavel's yours rather.
All right. It had a second, correct?
It did for Mr. Johnson.
Perfect. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
All day long.
All is that one nay or was that still a yay? Either way, I believe the ayes have it. So goes through.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Donna, and thank you for taking this on. And we'll get a message out seeking some volunteers here shortly, I imagine. And actually, the gavel will go back to you again, Tim.
All right.
As I thank Mr. Harris for all his patience thus far this evening, and make a motion to appoint him our District 11 representative.
Second.
All right.
Point of order.
Yes.
I thought 11 had a representative and 12 had a vacancy.
Did I misspeak? I meant District 12.
Yeah, it's on the agenda as 11. I would like to note that.
I will update that right now, and thank you for correcting me.
All right.
There you go. All right.
Motion to appoint James
Wait.
Harris, District
In
12.
all the world, wait, I have a point of information. Are we allowed to waive the notice of the oops? Just to make this valid. I want Mr. Harris to be in there, but are we good?
I
What do you
believe
mean, are we good?
grammatical error is within fixing, but it is from one district to another technically. I believe it's in order though. Unless somebody would like to correct me.
I mean, they're just maps with lines, and we don't agree with those because we're libertarians. But I'm sorry, I had to be a pain in the
We
ass.
have Dana, we have a ruling from the chair. We're good.
Right. All right. It has been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All say nay. All right. It has
Welcome
gone.
aboard.
Congratulations, Miss Harris.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be on your board.
We're glad to have you.
I'll try to be appropriate.
All I need.
Not sure that's required, but
All right. Mr. Miramonte, would you like to gavel back or you want me to continue through the Grasshopper phone service renewal?
I'll take the gavel back and see if there is a motion to continue service through Grasshopper, which has been providing phone service for us. Service is $300 annually, and it does allow us a variety of features to forward the 888 free now number to a variety of individuals, whomever we like, honestly. Right now, it forwards to our political director and myself, and I'm reasonably satisfied with the service. And in terms of researching alternatives, there's nothing significantly cheaper on the horizon that I'm aware of. That being said, if there's a motion.
Lawrence Johnson, District 6, I move to adopt the continuation of the Grasshopper phone service.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Carver, your hand is up.
So do we have like a breakdown of the cost of this compared to other costs of other things? Like, are we just gonna do the thing? We just only got this a year ago.
Well, the previous service provider was at a rate of $55 a month, and this current one is offering a service for $300 a year. So it's significantly cheaper than its predecessor. In terms of other available options, I didn't do extensive research because there wasn't really ample time to do so with all the other business of the party. But as far as what I am aware of, there's nothing that's going to be significantly cheaper or significantly more expensive. They're pretty much middle of the road price range.
Can we, the board, see this happen in real time, or do we just gotta like take words? Like,
Can I
so,
get some clarification on what this is?
like, so we're just being asked to vote on something without any sort of like paperwork or anything. Like, we're just being like, there's no paperwork, no
Well, the
contract,
renewal notice
no
was
anything.
forwarded to leadership.
Being asked to vote on a thing.
Okay. The
Like,
renewal
I
notice.
have a hard time voting on a thing without seeing the thing. And like, I don't even like write a check for a bill without seeing what the bill is.
All right. The renewal notice was forwarded to the board along with the pricing features and the details of what the service offers.
Right, because we get a second opinion. Like, 'cause we do that as humans. We get a second opinion, and
I compared it to the services of our predecessor. I also looked in to see if there were any options through Moment Enterprises with our existing contract. There are not.
did you send those?
Every member of the board received the renewal notice and could have made
So we
inquiries on
received
their
one
own.
notice. We received one notice. Did we receive any other things to go with it?
Oh, well, also I included the renewal amount and what the service included. I'm not
But
sure
only
what was
from the one
deficient in that
company.
notice that you're, if you could point to a
Only,
specific deficiency, Ms. Carver, in the notice that I was provided, just so that I can allay these concerns in the future, I would appreciate it.
right on. So we get one notice from one company, and that's it. And that's all we get to vote on. Right on.
But we're voting on whether or not to continue that service. We don't have to.
Right, but we know nothing about any other services because we have no alternate things from our treasurer to look at to budget this into our budget that we don't have. So we don't know how to vote on this because we don't have adequate information.
What information is inadequate at this time from the motion itself regarding grasshopper services? The pricing is included. What the service offers is included. I'm not clear on what the discrepancy is. If any board member wanted to take it upon themselves to investigate alternatives, they were free to do so as well. I did look into it against its predecessor just to see if we could save money by going back. And the fact of the matter is, it would cost us a lot more.
Right, but do you have that information like available? Because like you're asking us to spend money without knowing about
Mr.
the money.
Johnson's made the motion,
Like,
and Mr. Teagan seconded it. And at this time, yeah, I believe all of your concerns have been noted. Do you have any additional concern?
right on, spend the money. Let's not have anything to compare it to. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus.
Mr. Essner?
Charles.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Can we call the question?
Mr. Teagan did have his hand up. Do you have any objection to that, Tim, or anybody else?
I was just saying Grasshopper is one of the cheapest phone lines. I know that. I was just going to throw that in there. But yeah, we can call the question.
All right. All in favor of continuing Grasshopper services for the next calendar year at a rate of $300, please say aye.
Pointer.
All opposed?
We have to vote on calling the question, do we not?
Exactly.
Oh, correct. All in favor of calling the question, please say aye.
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 All right. Now, all in favor of the main motion to adopt Grasshopper services. Any opposition? There we go. Sorry about that, gentlemen and ladies. Now to the main motion. All in favor of adopting Grasshopper services for 1 year at a rate of $300, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Motion passes without objection. Mr. Essner has raised his hand, or it went back down.
I think I was out of order.
All right. Next order of business. We do have two interested candidates for the 35th Senate District, neither of whom are terribly familiar to the board or the party at this time. I would like to reach out to them to try and set up a time where we could interview them as a board and make it some sort of determination as to whether or not they might be suitable candidates for that race. Mr. Johnson, floor is yours.
My understanding of how this process has worked in the past and the way that we generally have handled it is the decision whether or not to nominate that candidate is up to the people that live in that district. Although we certainly can assist them with information, it's not our decision.
That is correct. That this would be an exploratory, just sort of interview, as we're noticing the members within the 35th district, which as Jamie sort of noted earlier, because of the weird map lines, this can be kind of a difficult thing to notice someone within that district because they aren't clean county lines. But we are making efforts to be able to make that notice as efficiently as possible. And then at the time of the meeting, if there is any county level overlap, we'll simply have to verify that those members do in fact reside within the 35th district to ensure that that process is followed. And so we would call that meeting following the interview of the candidates, and then those candidates would be able to present their case before the members of the 35th Senate District, State Senate District.
Yes, I absolutely agree that we need to find out more about them, but you're right. We need to feed that information to the people in the 35th district who will make that decision.
Absolutely correct. And thanks for that. Was there anything further, Larry?
Nope.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to Tim. Your hand just went down, so was that intentional?
Yeah, no question.
Okay. Ms. Carver?
I just wanted to echo his sentiments that we leave it up to those people that live there, to their zone. If they have a human that wants to run there, and then they do it. That's what we do. We don't pick that as a LEC. Never.
Nor was it suggested, but thank you, Ms. Carver. And Mr. Bowman, and then Ms. Thornton.
Yeah, just a little bit of more information I wanted to put out there about these situations. Okay, the governor has declared, I think, the special convention to be in May next year, if I recall right. And I think that petitions for major parties would be due sometime in February. I believe I got that right. And I think Donna actually had done research and had put it in an article. What the other part of this, though, is that we are not submitting our candidates, if they choose to run as libertarians for that seat, are not petitioning to get in a primary because we're not part of that system right now. So instead, there would be a caucus of district members, and they would decide who's going to represent, who is going to be their nominee for that office under the Libertarian Party banner. So that's the process. And I believe then that a district caucus would need some recognition from the Libertarian Party of Michigan. Otherwise, each candidate could form their own caucus and claim that they're the legitimate pick or whatever. So there has to be a date set. It needs to be noticed. I believe we even need to inform the Secretary of State of when and where it's happening. And then that caucus would choose our nominee.
Thank you for that, Scotty. Now, would there be any problem with including that as an order of business at our National Delegate Selection Convention?
I would see no problem with that, depending on the dates. I don't know what the date timeline.
Yeah, that doesn't give them enough time to do anything.
Also, it would have
elections in May.
Yeah, whenever that date is that we would do it, would have to be, and I don't know the exact deadline. I haven't found that out. But what I do know is the deadline is always earlier than the primary for the major parties. So in other words, that we have to make our designation of who our nominee is going to be before people have a primary. That we can't, for instance, because I think it's to prevent people from picking one of the losers of the primary to be their nominee or something like that.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll definitely make sure we get things in before that date. Definitely this would be more of an advisory thing just to, get to know these potential candidates and allow the members, some sort of an advisory position that we have if they don't know these individuals, which seems probable given that at least one of them is not in our membership database. And then we can move forward with district caucus in the manner that Scotty described. That being said, it looks like Ms. Thornton, you had your hand up next.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak in favor of this as well, Justin. This is my district, actually, that this election is happening in, and I am not at all familiar enough with the election procedures to feel comfortable guiding anybody through this. We don't have an active affiliate in that part of because it's not Genesee, it's north of Genesee. We don't have an active affiliate up there. So I would really, really hope that we could do some screening of candidates to make sure we don't have, some weirdo running on the Libertarian banner. I'd like to be able to get some support from the state party, especially since we don't have an active affiliate up there and we don't know what kind of people, what kind of organization they're going to be able to do locally. If they've never run before, they'll need people to guide them through the process. And I also hope that perhaps we can parlay this into yet maybe another affiliate. Maybe we can get enough people interested and, join the party and get them active and, just basically use this as a chance for outreach as well as a screening process. So I yield back.
Thank you. And all points very well taken. Yes. So with that being said, I don't know if we wanted to go ahead and set a meeting date and just notify the potential candidates of that date. If we did want to propose that, I would suggest perhaps not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. Sundays do seem to work best for the majority of the board. And I see Scotty's hand is up. I'm not sure if it's yes.
I am not.
That's a legacy.
If there's anyone else on the board that agrees, I am not happy with Sunday.
Quick personal comment. I do have to leave for the night. Unfortunately, I'm on the road. My phone's at 1%. But I will catch up with y'all later.
Thank you, Tim. I'll catch you up on anything you might happen to miss here.
Thank you kindly.
And Mr. Johnson.
I think having this meeting is a good idea, but we also need to make clear to the candidates that we're just seeking information. Yes. That we won't be making the decision. As long as they need to know that. I mean, we all know that, but we need to make sure that they realize that we're trying to acquaint ourselves with them, but that ultimately the decision is up to the residents of the 35th desk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll keep that in mind as we're writing up that notice for the meeting. And Donna, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just have one quick note and then hopefully we can call the question. But my note would be this would be a good screening even for them just to see if they make it. Because Trevor was telling me a lot of people ghost him for these kind of positions after they find out a little bit more. So I think it's good to have people jump through a small hoop. And one of the things we want is for them to go to forums and be able to answer voter questions on our behalf. So I think we definitely want to do it. And I think we want to do it sooner versus later because we're always at a disadvantage in every election, the way we nominate so late in the season. And this election's in May, and they're going to be holding forums in the winter for a February primary. We want to be included, you know. So I vote, I'd like to make a motion to set the meeting for 2 weeks from today and invite both candidates. And I don't know if I would add at this time to, select a candidate as soon as possible, or maybe leave that off for now. But that's my thoughts.
All right. So we'll need a precisely stated motion there. The motion to declare the meeting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the motion, basically.
All right. And pursuant to what Mr. Johnson had suggested, we'll phrase that email accordingly. That's also part of your motion.
No, what as far I wanted
Just
to
to
make it
clarify
more
that we're
time
not
sensitive.
selecting candidates
Oh,
at this next meeting. We're just
that this is an
interviewing them.
informational. Yes, yes.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll just modify it to say an informational meeting with the board.
Perfect. All right. Does that motion have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
All right. Motion passes with one objection. And we'll move on to open floor. If anyone has anything for open floor. Donna, is your hand still up?
Oh, nope, sorry.
All right, Mr. Essner.
Yeah, I pasted in the chat. I'll paste it again. I brought it up right in the beginning of the meeting. Something to say about the current situation. I'm purposely I'm just putting something in I put something in the chat. Basically it states the Libertarian Party of Michigan condemns all political violence. Free speech is the proper way to resolve differences in society. In a free society without the fear of violence, self-defense is also essential to a free society where people can defend themselves from violence. We advocate for all Americans to join the Libertarians to affirm the non-aggression principle, to never initiate force to achieve political or social goals. I purposefully left off, and I'm not tied to anything, and I'm not necessarily proposing we put this out, but I think we should say something. But I purposely did not put in, we know who we're talking about, who was assassinated. I purposely did not put him in there because I'm not really looking to suggest an endorsement of him or his ideas. I'm merely trying to condemn what was done too. So trying to be a little middle of the road. I don't want someone from the quote unquote left to read it and be like, screw you guys. I don't want someone from the quote unquote right to read it and go, screw you guys. So anyway, just idea I brought up at the beginning. So anyway.
Right. And does this have a second?
Was that in the form of a motion?
I'll make it a motion if needed. Yes.
I'll
second it. Yeah. We're not on our agenda though. We sort of jumped around on the agenda. Just want to point that out.
Well, we're on open floor now, I believe.
Did we pass Dana's motion with Dave Canny's motion and reimbursement for convention expenses? Did I miss that?
That was stricken from the agenda as those expenses had been satisfied.
Okay, and how about Dana's resolution? Thought that was before open floor, but
it wasn't actually added. She was free to make it an open floor if she so chooses.
okay, I got it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I like the motion and I would second it if somebody else didn't.
All right. The motion on the floor, did that have a second? I just want to clarify. That was Mr. Essner's motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion on the matter?
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Parliamentary inquiry, whichever it is. I do believe this would take the form of a resolution. Is that correct?
That is correct. It would require 2/3.
Okay.
Point
And
of personal privilege, I would like to request that we take a recess. Because certain people cannot go all these hours without peeing. So, like, we have to, point of personal privilege, we have to take a recess, please. I beg of all of you. I mean, I'm outside. I could pee right in front of all of you, but I would like to go inside and pee. It'd be
second,
Sorry.
I move for a 10-minute recess.
So we'll just go ahead and do that unless there's a strong objection. All right. We'll reconvene in 10 minutes time. That'll make it.
Mr. Chair,
9.
since we're having unofficial discussions, I think in the future you might be wise to not put a specific end time for adjournment. We technically should have had a motion to extend since it was scheduled to adjourn at 8:30 and is significantly after 8:30.
Yes, anyone could have called for orders of the day at any point.
Somebody
But,
mentioned
yeah.
it. Somebody mentioned it briefly, and I just chose to ignore it and let us finish our work.
I had considered it, but at the time the gavel was Mr. Keegan's, and I didn't really want to interrupt the conversation. I believe Ms. Carver was speaking at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So since we're on a break, could I suggest that if you're going to do that resolution, at least some mentioning of condolences for the family?
It's so late. I don't know. The issue is sort of over. I don't know. I'd like to keep it generic as my
Yeah, I think generic is better.
more
That was-
time. I'm sorry, I'm not raising my hand.
Well, we're not in session right now.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yeah, that's the only reason I spoke, because we're not in session.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I think part of the whole thing is because it happened. So because somebody got murdered, we're making this resolution, but we should offer condolences in some way, whether it's a separate resolution or part of this one.
Two things, just to address that, Rich, on the Twitter account. This wasn't the exact statement that we did put out, but we did send our thoughts in before we had heard that he had passed, and then after passing, we did send our condolences and made a similar statement. But if this is a resolution or a statement, or however you're going to phrase this, with such a motion, you would have to direct someone to do something with it. So you can make a statement that, okay, there's a statement. Now, what are you going to do with it, and who's going to do it? So I just wanted to make that point.
I was going to make that point also, Jamie. We need to, if we're going to, I didn't know if it was appropriate to amend it or to simply discuss it later on how we would disseminate this, but as a press release in addition to perhaps a posting on our website and on social media.
What do you mean by press release? Do you guys have a list of people that publish our stuff, every thought that we have?
I have no idea how press releases work these days, but they're still a thing so that you can get it to TV, newspapers, and other.
Oh, I know that. I did it for a living for a long time, but I would say our candidates might get picked up, but a press release as to what we think about violence, a newspaper is not going to print it, you know. That's my own thoughts. I mean,
We used to do them. I don't know if there's any information or list or anything in our Google Drive from previous boards. And I do know that during the time that Connor was the communications director, we had picked up a press release service. I'm assuming that we didn't keep that for whatever reasons, money, budget, or just drop the ball. I don't know. But I would say at the very minimum, we need to put it on our social media. We should send it to all of our members as an email as a minimum. But it would be awesome if we could get it sent as a press release somehow.
Yeah, as I said before, I have no idea how press releases work these days. I know that in the old Washtenaw affiliate, we simply had a list of email addresses that we could send on. We could type something up and send it to these email addresses. And I have no idea how they do it now.
Did that work?
It did work with some local things, yes. But of course, you know,
So-
media has changed significantly in the last 20 years. So who knows how it works now?
I could see for events or candidates, I'm just not sure that our opinions are newsworthy of anything other than the opinion page, which we could write letters to the editor. That's one idea.
So I have a quick question on this. Does statements on X and Facebook and other things count as press releases, or does it specifically have to be like Mesquite M Live, you know, or whatever?
That was sort of my.
Go ahead, Dana.
No, that was really my question during the communication discussion. What is a press release these days? I studied journalism
Sure.
50 years ago, and I'm with Larry. We used to have lists, and it used to work even up here at work 10 years ago, but it worked for certain things and not for necessarily the Libertarian Party believes this. You know what I mean? Like, if we're announcing our senator candidate, yeah, I think we should send it everywhere. You know,
I mean,
Well,
we
the
definitely-
senator candidate should only be within that zone. It's a state senate thing.
yeah, but this resolution is a national resolution.
Well, the only reason I brought up making sure that we disseminate it as thoroughly as possible is when I was at the Dally in the Alley last weekend, we had some people come up and attack us and act as if we were MAGA light. And I think it's a reputation that we maybe have earned, but we need to start trying to reverse that.
Oh, believe me, you've seen the page. You've seen the Facebook page. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's why we shouldn't actually like say the name. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's political. You're right. Saying the name turns it into taking sides.
I don't know.
I would like us to stop always mentioning Republicans in our, you know.
Mike, I try to never mention the Republicans or the Democrats. I tell people to be their own people and not to be part of anything. And sometimes they join the party, other times they just turn anarchist. It just happens.
I was going to say, as press releases are the kind of thing where it may be a spur of the moment matter, and the chair may authorize a press release. You know, the secretary would typically be a person that would write it, but it wouldn't have to be the secretary. If it's something like this, where the LEC is actually voting on something, they could make an amendment to the motion to include that they instruct, you know, whomever to write a press release to go ahead and to notify the media that we've taken such and such position. Or we could simply have a post on our webpage saying this is our position and leave it there.
Here.
Well, I think the Libertarian Party used to have a subscription to the databases. I know I had one for a minute when I was doing the ballot initiatives, and it sends all the press releases everywhere. So that was something that I feel like the party used to have.
I supplied a huge number of contacts, and perhaps they had gained additional contacts, I'm pretty sure, since that time. So, yeah, we've had a long list.
Yeah, I think you put it on the web page and in the newsletter to the members and on social media.
That sounds adequate.
Yeah, I'll. I mean, it's probably a little out of order, but when we start back up, maybe I'll just say like we'll put it here, here, and here.
Yeah,
I mean, it does cost money because I know it costs us like I think we pay like $500 for it for the year.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
subscription to everything. So
500 news for what? $500 for what?
It was like $500 for the year. I have to go look back in our old state filings.
What was it that we're paying for?
It gave
Press
every
release.
release that you did to every entity that existed that was
Wow.
still press, like a paper, like,
Okay, yeah, because I mean,
we're talking that was 2015. That was like 10 years ago.
All right, the time is 9:56. We will resume. And at this point, let me just go ahead and check the list here. All right, so I'm going to return the floor to Mr. Essner briefly, and then let everyone get their hands back up if they'd like to speak.
Yep. I would like to just more formally say that the verbiage I have in there, but I would like to motion to put the verbiage that I already said. We can reread it at the end if we want to. If there's any fine tuning we want to do, let me know. And then we post this on our social media, the website, email it to members. And I would say the people in charge of I'm sorry about that. Excuse me. I would say the people in charge of the various things like Facebook or X would be the ones to actually post that. If you want, I can help write a letter that would have this in it, and we would send out an email if we want to do that. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. I got somebody here.
Not a problem. All right, we'll go to Donna. Was your hand still up?
No, I keep forgetting. I'm doing minutes here. I since you called on me anyway, I will ask if we're gonna put out a newsletter with this recording. I could combine it, but I don't know if we want to put out a separate newsletter with just this, or if it matters. I don't want people to be getting too many emails from us, but I don't want to dilute it either. I don't want to dilute the message.
We can discuss that later. I think we could certainly post it as an article to the website immediately if the board ratifies something here tonight. And then from there, it can be included in the next newsletter as something that, and we can certainly, I tend to agree with you. Your concern there about emailing too frequently. I don't want people to de facto ignore emails from the party going forward. And there is the risk of that if you send them something on every little thing.
Yeah, this would be a short letter with just this and the minutes and recording to this meeting right here. So
yeah, and perhaps a truncated version of the recording that just captures this portion of it. Yes. All right, Ms. Carver, the floor is yours.
For the record, I would like to know what we're voting on right now, because
do you want me to read it?
Certainly.
The Libertarian Party of Michigan condemns all political violence. Free speech is the proper way to resolve differences in a free society without the fear of violence. Self-defense is also essential to a free society where people can defend themselves from violence. This statement will be posted on the website, social media, and emailed to members.
Also, we advocate for all Americans to join libertarians to affirm the non-aggression principle, to never initiate force to achieve political social goals.
So
I like that. A call to join the party.
We advocate for all Americans to join the Libertarian Party in the non-aggression principle.
I'm even more confused now.
It's in the chat, and I can email it to you.
Okay, I got the first part from the chat, and you got it. Okay.
The second part's in the chat as well.
All right, sounds good.
Here, I'll just repost it.
Okay.
Oh, calm down. Sorry.
Oh, I see it. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Is somebody waiting on me? No? Okay, never mind.
Apologies there. So Dana, was your hand up? All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will move.
Public discussion.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Carver.
Like, was there a second? Because I didn't hear a second.
It was seconded.
All
Mrs.
right,
Thornton
cool.
seconded.
All right. Well, this seems kind of like a negative to me. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But it is very kind of negative because we don't. And Jamie is trying to clean it up. I can't see what she wrote yet, but anyway, so it's kind of negative. It's like there's a lot of like violence words and all that shit. We have to be like kumbaya, libertarian, anarchists. We have to be like, no, we don't. Like, Charlie Kirk was a piece of shit, but we have to say that we can't do this to piece of shits, you know? So we have to like figure out how to not use the word violence so much, and that piece of shits aren't piece of shits, you know, just like something happy. I love what the LP Louisiana did. Like, that was a great message, and like something like that should be what we do, you know. Please.
All right, Mr. Saliba.
Unmute yourself, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't make any statements about Melissa Hortman, so it's kind of hypocritical for us to start now. I think, anybody who reads our website knows we don't initiate force or violence because that's the basic pledge. So
When was Hortman, Mike?
3 months ago or something.
In other words, the old board. Do we want to be the old board?
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Mr. Gillot.
And if Charlie, if you take a look, you might not hate what Jamie, how she rewrote it. Because I will say that I like the idea, but the word violence jumped out at me too. So I don't think you're invested in anything but the spirit and principle of what you're trying to do here, I'm hoping. So it's pretty good. So that's all I got to say. Just a point of view.
I'm sorry, I was muted there. Was that a motion to amend the to Jamie's verbiage, Jay?
Fair point. Sure. Yes, I will motion to amend, replace the verbiage, amend and replace the verbiage of Charles's what do we call this? It's a statement.
And does that amendment have a second?
What are we replacing it with?
There's text in chat, which I can read.
Jamie's, which was
Right, Jamie's not a member of this board. Point of information. I'm confused too as to what we're doing.
All right. Mr. Gillot is adopting the phrasing that Ms. Alstein has used in chat. And
I'm okay with it. I reposted it how it would be, and it's complete.
All right. So that would
So
be
this
Mr.
is the
Essler has
complete-
seconded it.
This is the complete motion, Charles, then? The one that you just posted?
We should point
That's
of
the whole
parliamentary order. Point of parliamentary order, Mr. Chair. We should have a vote to amend rather than just friendly amendment, which is.
Well, it was moved and seconded. We just haven't gotten to the vote yet, but you are correct, Mr. Johnson.
Point of order, I moved to amend and replace is what I did, so. It's not a friendly amendment, amend and replace.
Yes, Mr. Esther seconded the replacement. I don't know that it matters whether we characterize it as friendly or otherwise at this point. The text has been replaced for the second if the vote passes here. So if there's further discussion on your amendment, we can go ahead with that. I would ask if we're going back to the original motion to withhold comment at this time.
So the
That
first
said-
three sentences remain the same, and then we're just changing the "we advocate" sentence.
Here, do you want me to just email you right now?
Well, that's fine. I have the Libertarian Party of Michigan condemns all political violence. Is that still part of it? Free speech is the proper way to resolve differences. Is that all still part of it?
I'm sorry, I got someone yelling here. So it's the Libertarian Party of Michigan stands firmly against all forms of political violence. In a free society, disputes must be resolved through open dialogue, free expression, not through force or intimidation. At the same time, we affirm the right of each individual to defend themselves against violence. We advocate for all Americans to join libertarians to affirm the non-aggression principle, to never initiate force or achieve political or social goals. You're making it hard.
Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing your first part though. Why is okay, I see it now. Okay, it's way up. 10:04. Okay.
All right, Mr. Wolf.
I just suggested that we slit our wrists and get over this shit.
You did not.
I did.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the chat, I had sort of comically said we ought to do three versions, like the 3rd grade level, the 10th grade level, and college. And I actually think I actually think that's kind of a good idea because it passively aggressive.
Sorry.
I actually think that's kind of a good idea because it could appeal to younger people, but also it acknowledges the failure of the education system. Many people can't read past the 8th grade. I know Dana's laughing, but I'm being totally serious. So we could use this opportunity as sort of a dual message and appeal to those who might not be able to read at a higher level. And Dana might include herself in that lower camp. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Johnson.
I would like to call the question.
Thank you, sir. Any objection to calling the question?
Call all the previous questions.
Any objection to calling all previous questions?
What are all previous questions?
What are all previous questions?
Amendment and the main motion.
Yeah. So this would be a motion to pass the amendment and the original motion all in one vote, to be clear. So we would be passing the motion as amended.
Can we have a reread of all the things, please? Point of all the parliamentary whatevers. Please.
Okay.
Paste it on the screen.
The motion will be restated before the vote, yes.
Okay, the
But right now
Libertarian.
we're voting on whether or not to call the question.
Okay.
Is there any objection to calling the question? Hearing none, we will proceed to a vote. Madam Secretary, would you like to read the motion?
The Libertarian Party of Michigan stands firmly against all forms of political violence. In a free society, disputes must be resolved through open dialogue and free expression, not through force or intimidation. At the same time, we affirm the right of every individual to defend themselves against violence. We advocate for all Americans to join libertarians to affirm the non-aggression principle, never initiate force to achieve political or social goals. This post should be on the website and social media and emailed to members.
Point of information, Chair. Is that not the old language? I heard the word violence way too many times. That's the old language.
No, there's only one.
Okay.
I think she read the. I think she read the updated one.
I was incorrect, and I withdraw my whatever.
Very well. Mr. Gillot, is your hand still up or up for a second time?
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So, seeing no objection to calling the question, and as this was ruled a resolution, we will go straight to a roll call vote. So, Madam Secretary, if you would like to.
Kim Keegan is gone. Scott?
Aye.
Andrew?
Yes.
I vote yes. Dana? Jay?
Aye.
Tori? Raphael?
Yes.
John? Gone. Larry?
Yes.
Leah? Angela?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Okay, I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I know some of them left. Tim, Dana, Tori, John, and Leah.
I was a yes.
You're a yes, so it's 11-0. Motion passes.
Just a point of clarity, resolution passes, but yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. And with that, I see Ms. Thornton's hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to get back to Mr. Canny's motion, and I would also like to speak on it after, if it gets a second. I'm going to present a more concise version of it. I move that the Libertarian Executive Committee shall not authorize any debts incurred prior to the July 2025 LEC election unless the full committee has reviewed the claim, a majority approves payment, and proper documentation is provided for each claim. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Floor is open for discussion.
May I speak to my motion, Mr. Chair?
Question?
Yes.
I just want to say that we already kind of know that there's been we don't know what's out there hanging over our heads, and this is just an attempt to make sure that we're not obligated or blindsided by large chunks of money disappearing from the coffers without us approving it. I did notice in your email that you were going to rule this a resolution, Mr. Chair, and I actually believe that was the correct interpretation, and which is why I revised it. I think this more shortened form is just a simple motion and would only require a majority, and I hope that you can you'll agree with that.
I do.
Thank you.
And that motion has been moved and seconded. And now the floor will be open. Mr. Bowman had his hand up first.
Yeah. When I got on this meeting today, I guess I hadn't read over. Well, I know I hadn't read over the agenda in advance, but I was pretty sure that this was the Sunday on which we were going to meet with I believe we got Kerry Morgan is supposed to be on board with the meeting, and possibly at least one or two of the other attorneys may or may not pop
No.
in, or that when that we're going to go over the bank account and all this in a closed session. I haven't heard. It's obviously not on the agenda. So what's happening with that? Because that's
Orders of the day,
directly
Mr.
relevant
Chair.
to this
Orders of
motion.
the day, Mr. Chair. This is not relevant to the motion on the floor.
It's 100% relevant. My
To
vote
the
is going
motion
to
on
be
the floor.
contingent on an answer.
Relevant, but not to the motion on the floor. We need to finish this business, then we can discuss your business.
But it's not particularly relevant to the motion on the floor. That will be scheduled as a special meeting. It will be called as soon as we can find a time wherein both parties want to meet. Right now, there are some complications we can discuss in executive session if the board wishes to later. But at this time, that meeting has not been scheduled. So we'll go back to the original motion, which is regarding the expenditure of certain funds. And Mr. Essner, your hand is up.
Yeah, sorry if I missed a little bit. I had a thing happen. I guess my only question is, I'm kind of making an assumption here, so it's more of a clarification. If we find out that not paying will incur a litigation that could incur more cost, we would then probably, this wouldn't tie our hands to just saying, hey, we got to pay it so we don't incur more cost.
We would just vote to pay it.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is if we get sued for the money, if there is a cost that was incurred and then we get sued for the money, like, I just don't want to incur more costs than we might have to pay. I don't know how to resolve that. I don't know the detail. I don't know how that works.
Well, if we got sued, we wouldn't have any choice. We have to pay it. I mean, state law overrides the bylaws and the board and everything. So the judgment would just be something that we were obligated to pay. But any contracts that we entered into, we probably are obligated to pay too. We just want to, this motion is just to give this board a chance to review everything before we disperse any monies.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I was in the middle of stuff, so I misinterpreted saying we weren't paying bills. So I'm like, oh, we're going to incur more costs. Sorry.
All right, Ms. Carver.
I agree with Raphael. We'll just bill me for all those expenses and it'll work out. Yeah, no, I do agree with this motion, and I had my own version of it, but that's cool. I speak in favor of this motion because we can't just willy-nilly pay things that we don't know what they are. That's why I asked about the phone thing. Like, did we call around? Did we get, like, we have to, like, do our fiduciary duties, like look around, ask questions, make sure we're doing the right thing. We can't just pay things, you know?
Thank you, Ms. Carver. Mr. Wolf.
I was just going to make an addition to the earlier thought. I think anyone who we possibly owe would send some sort of a demand letter first before ever just dropping a lawsuit. And so I think the board could handle any demand letter, logically at that time. I don't think we need to fear any type of lawsuits off the bat.
Thank you. And seeing no other hands up, is there any objection to calling the question on the matter? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. And the motion passes without objection.
And one abstention.
One abstention. Thank you. Well,
Who
I
who
abstained as well,
abstained?
but Mr. Bowman and myself.
Okay.
Andrew
If I
Duke
may-
also abstained.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Duke.
Can I just, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Donna, I texted you the text of the, because I'm having very dramatic no internet. So I kind of suck at this and I don't want to screw up the Zoom. So I sent it from my phone to your phone. So if that doesn't
Okay.
work after internet comes back up, I will, I'll email it to you. But right now my email won't go out either. So I'm really sorry. I'm like the weakest link tonight.
Okay, I've got it.
So with that motion passed, I see no further hands up. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in
Who made
favor?
that motion? I'm sorry.
Mr. Ressner moved it. Ms. Thornton
Okay.
seconded.
All right.
All in favor? Please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Thank you, everyone. Donna, don't forget to end your recording.
Yeah.
Andrew, are we still holding the audit committee meeting?